Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, everybody, depending on where you're at. I'm glad that you're here to stop on by for yet another discussion about Multiverse of Madness. That's right. You thought what? I was going to be contained to one damn stream for this? You out your mind. You out your damn mind. There's too much madness to be talking about. And so much so that I got to go ahead and have others to discuss it with me. Last time I was lucky enough to have the Upside Dan with me, and so long as we can find him, he's apparently trapped in the Upside somewhere, we're going to have him on here as well. But in the meantime, I do have someone else that I'm extremely happy to have along with me, Mr. Man of Movies.
What is up, everybody? So I didn't get the memo. Apparently, we're all meeting up at Kamartage. I was in the bathroom, though.
Yeah, it's a good thing that you missed that memo. Bad news about Carmitage. Bad news. But we'll get to that later. It's a bit of a sensitive topic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Otherwise, how you doing, man?
Man, I'm tired.
Why would that possibly be? What could possibly have you tired right now?
I am a father now, and I have a baby to take care of now.
Oh my gosh. Everybody, a round of applause for Mr. Man of Movies, officially dad of movies.
Let's all give a round of applause to my sperm cells.
That's right. There was at least one working in there. There we go.
At least one.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. And it seems as though we've got some people here. And if I'm looking correctly, it looks like maybe even one of them is Mrs. Man of Movies. So real quick, I'm just going to say what's up to some people that happen to be with us. We got Schofield Studios. Glad to have you, man.
What up?
Along with The View with Drew.
What is up, Drew?
Great to see you stop by, my man. We also got Pierce Productions. What's going on, Pierce? Great to have you by, bud.
What up, Trace? Well. My man, Trace.
We do indeed. I was not mistaken. I was not just reading things. Francis is indeed here. Who's watching the baby?
Oh, snap.
Oh gosh, that's great. That's great. Schofield saying that we're talking more Multiverse of Madness than Sam Raimi in his interviews. That's right. That's right.
I think that is quite literally true, right? Because you have, I think, in total like 4 hours worth of Multiverse of Madness talk, and he probably has like 10 minutes of interviews at a time.
That's true. So yeah, it's not really a fair comparison, but yeah, I'm absolutely going to say I am talking about it more than him. And I mean, I can't help it. I can't help. Honestly, it's one of those, if we could just keep like a 24-hour live stream going and I was able to eat in the midst of doing it, I'd probably go ahead and just make an entire day stream out of this. So glad to have some more discussion about it, Schofield, and glad that you're here to go ahead and be a part of that. Also, we got Solo Straight, my buddy Shane, who officially has a YouTube channel now. What's going on, Shane?
What up, Shane?
He's throwing some props your way. Congrats, dad of movies.
Thanks, Shane. Shane used to talk to us when we would go live?
Yes.
But as Shane, like an actual just Shane profile. I remember Shane. Yeah, I remember Shane.
Basically, he's got now set up, so I'll make this very quick and condensed. I know you at least know that there is a Star Wars mobile game that I play, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, and he's been my buddy in that game, my brother in arms for quite some time, and Solo Straight is just his in-game name. So now he's got a channel where he gives people as far as advice and great strategies on the game.
Ooh, nice.
Absolutely. Also, got Shane's better half in here. Angela.
Ooh.
How's it going, Angela? Hope you're doing well.
What's up, Angela?
So let's see. Gonna go ahead and jump right on into stuff here. Also happen to notice that Dan is asking for a link, so I'm gonna send him that. But in the meantime, since we've heard myself chat about this shit a lot, and we're gonna hear some more, but I want to start off, John, by asking you yourself, what just maybe, whether you want to say general thoughts or if there's something you want to dive right into right away, but I'm just dying to go ahead and get more into this movie with you because we've basically only gotten a chance to kind of get through some first impressions.
Yeah, first impressions for sure. Dude, you know this because we talk personally, but I do not, and I know you don't either, understand the divide that this film is getting. I mean, to the point that at times I compared it to The Last Jedi divide. I really think that Multiverse of Madness is one of the MCU's best movies. Now, I'm not saying it's the best. I'm not even saying a top 5 type film, but I am saying it is a top tier MCU film. Raimi absolutely killed it. His direction was unique and so individualistic, something that not even the Russos, in my opinion, can top. Now, there are some things that we'll get into that I didn't quite like within the film, specifically within its writing and such, but it doesn't outweigh it, Jace. It is still a solid film.
I agree 100%, man. And I got to be honest with you. I'm not too sure what it was right away, but I'm not going to lie. I was like preparing myself that you are not going to enjoy this. So I don't know why. I was just like, it really was a pleasantly overwhelming surprise when you got done seeing the movie and you were just like, that was amazing. And it was just, yes,
I
someone else sees the light.
I think because Jace, we talk so much, we talk every single day. You know about my Marvel fatigue, something we can get into a little bit later, but my Marvel fatigue is through the roof. And then this movie came in, and I was like, maybe it's not through the roof just yet.
That's good, man. I'm glad that there is something there to keep that at bay, because the fatigue is real, and it's a dangerous thing. And
yes.
before I happen to continue this onward, I could not help but notice that the third person we've been waiting for is here, Mr. Upside Dan.
Oh, what the?
Whoa, wait a second.
What Upside Dan?
Well, yeah, no, dude. If anybody hasn't seen the meme, I guess, which is it's just from the movie, it's just turned into a meme, but the whole like it's inspired by the moment where Black Bolt dies, right? So, he's like, hey, he could kill you with a whisper from his mouth. And she's just like, what mouth? And his mouth disappears. And now it's going around of just like, what anything? And then it just disappears.
His dad's like, what?
Damn, Dan, did you get into it with Wanda or what happened?
Yeah, that's why I was a little late.
I love the dedication there, man.
You got to make your woman happy any day in the month.
Oh my God.
Let's continue.
And we go
Dan,
on.
I will say, Dan, for like a slight second, you scared the crap out of me because I'm like, why does Dan have blood on his face? And then I'm not gonna lie, Dan. What was that Captain America shield that you were showing us? I thought it was a metal tray of pizza, and you slathered marinara sauce on your face.
Would have been totally believable. Totally believable. And it does indeed look like an alternate version of Dan is here.
What's up, Dan?
Dan, what is it actually on your face? What do you actually got? Is it?
Oh, it's fake blood from Spirit, but I never use it. So I was like, oh, it'd be cool to make Wanda's thing, but it was harder than it seemed. But I kind of just on my face randomly, and then.
Very nice, very nice.
That was amazing.
To kind of keep things going, get us back into the actual topic at hand here. It looks like Shane was saying that this film is indeed more divided than the Depp trial. Very interesting analogy, to say the least.
Is that divided? Would you say that's divided?
Yeah, at this point anyway, does it seem like it's really too divided? I don't know. Schofield was thrown in. I heard someone say the dialogue sucked. Had a long argument with that. You know what? I go back and forth. I've kind of said this lightly from before, but I do feel like that is indeed one of the movie's weaker aspects at times. And I hesitate to say it because, trust me, I do think there is some phenomenal dialogue throughout. There is just certain things, conversations that take place that feel like maybe a bit rushed and condensed. And I think that's what makes the dialogue suffer a little bit because of it. But, nonetheless, it's not to the point of just like, they just sound stupid in the movie, I guess. Did you guys have that much of an issue as far as with the dialogue?
So I didn't think it was that bad either. I mean, we're talking about movies like The Room that have some of the worst dialogue in the world. Me and Dan were making fun of the breast cancer line in that film and how bad the dialogue is. comparatively, like there's a line here and there that I thought were a bit weak. For example, I think there is a line with the Illuminati when they confront Wanda, and John Krasinski's Mr. Fantastic goes into like trying to calm her down, but then immediately, but hey, here's this guy and he could like freaking kill you right now. It's like, oh, that's kind of cringe. It's kind of cringe, man. Who wrote this?
I do think that actually speaks to the character development, not development, the type of characters that the Illuminati are. In other words, I think that they're really not heroes. Like, and when I say that, obviously, I'm not trying to like say, oh, it's actually a group of villains that are just acting as it. No, but I think that they're like basically villains that are willing to take it a step way too far. I mean, they legitimately, like, after taking out Thanos, they just straight up killed their Doctor Strange and then lied to the whole fucking world about it and made a statue about him and put it up and was like, no, it's all good. I think there's something about the way that they compose themselves, that arrogance that comes along with, what led to their deaths by Wanda, that it just kind of gives me this vibe as though they are not as heroic as the type of heroes we're used to.
Yeah, I know that I was hearing some people say that they wouldn't like to go to Earth 838, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty. It's a lot of nature. But it seems as if the way that it's run, or the way they run it, it's more like a militia state.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very much martial law all the time. That would suck.
Yeah, no, it's very much how it came off like. And there's one other thing that I heard recently, and I'll ask what your guys' thoughts on this are. I thought this was super interesting that I came across. So, how accurate this is, I believe it's pretty accurate. This seems to be like a pretty, I don't know, on point leak of a deleted scene. So something that they shot and then just felt it was not as didn't work too well. Apparently, it was like in a test run of the film, and then there was a group that had seen it, and just it didn't really seem to sit well with the audiences, so they decided to remove it. But apparently, there was a extension of this Earth 838 Wanda that was kind of explored, and it was explaining that the Illuminati was aware of the Scarlet Witch legend, right? Like the whole fact of what she could become. So, in order to eliminate that threat ahead of time, they actually had Professor X, and this is apparently a scene that was shot. They had Professor X go talk to Michael Fassbender's Magneto to basically say, hey, we need your approval to go give your daughter a lobotomy. That was like a legitimate thing that the Illuminati was setting it up so that, again, they were going to go give their Wanda a lobotomy so that she could not ever potentially be the Scarlet Witch that they knew could be a threat later on. And once again, filmed a scene apparently with Michael Fassbender's Magneto talking to Patrick Stewart's Professor X to kind of get the okay to go through and do that. I mean, what do you guys think as far as, I guess, number one, that being a thing, and then also, do you feel like it should have been in the movie? Do you think it would have been too weird if it was in the movie? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know where it would have fit in. It's a cool idea. I mean, I would have liked to see, Michael Fassbender in Magneto in general, really. It would have been an odd comparison, though, because it's a different Professor X. It's the older Professor X with the younger Magneto, but it's the multiverse, so there's another one where both of them are the same age, or, whatever. But I don't know where it would have fit in. But it could have been, to show that they did try before to make her not the Scarlet Witch, at least. But then I think that it would have made less sense. It would have made less sense that they didn't believe Doctor Strange that she was a big threat. Because if they knew she could become that big of a threat, then it wouldn't have made sense as much.
Maybe if this is real and this was supposedly taken out from the film, a lobotomy in the sense that they took away some of her ability. Because if you guys remember, when they're in that pathway, no, to the pathway to the Book of Ashanti.
Oh, okay.
They and Scarlet Witch, who is dreamwalking, ends up letting go of Earth 838's Scarlet Witch. And then that Scarlet Witch comes to. she uses her powers to get back home.
Yeah.
So the lobotomy obviously did not take away her powers per se, but maybe the extent of her turning into the Scarlet Witch. But I'll say this, right? You call it a self-fulfilling prophecy because guess what? Dreamwalking or not, she still became the Scarlet Witch and killed everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something to take away from it, is right. There's no stopping the prophecy no matter what you do, even if it's this Wanda. And yeah, I'm curious if they would have actually gone through with keeping that, if they would have made her had, well, I guess they don't have a choice, but to make her have at least some powers still, in Earth 838. Otherwise, how would she really be able to control her to do anything? But it also would have severely underplayed her abilities. Like, she wouldn't have been able to do as much if they went through with that. So I think they took that into account. They were like, look, if we actually go through with like giving her a lobotomy, then that's, and it does either decrease her powers, take them away, whatever the case is. Then when our Wanda dream walks into her, she's not really going to be able to do anything too menacing. So I'm like, all right. But it seems as though the biggest reason that they took it out was because audiences supposedly did not react well to the concept of the Illuminati being so evil, like, you know what I mean? Because the fact that they weren't doing it for evil purposes, but it's like, yo, you guys are fucking savage if you're just thinking about actually going through with that.
Yeah.
No, yeah, exactly.
It's almost like in Moon Knight, how judges the people before the bad thing, and they killed them before.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's exactly like that. Exactly like that. It's a good analogy, Dan. Good relation with another Marvel project there. It seems as though Pierce wasn't bothered by the dialogue except the ice cream song.
The ice cream song.
That is their kids, But the singing, the kids singing.
Yeah, but it's a little kid thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's something I can understand. They made me think right away when I read this. I knew it's not what it was talking about, but the part where, what did you guys think of when Doctor Strange versus Sinister Strange, where they were like throwing musical notes at each other?
Amazing. I think it was one of my favorite parts of the whole film. I adored it. And I think it was Danny Elfman just with full creative control in that scene.
It did seem like it. It almost seemed a bit goofy at first to me and seemed like it should be something for an animated type of thing. But by the time it was all said and done, I was like, that was pretty epic. That was cool. Dan, what'd you think?
It was weird. Like, it was like, wow, this is really happening. And then, but I liked it. I like John said, I really liked the score. It was cool. It was really cool.
But I agree, though. It did initially come off as weird. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. You just got to understand. It's just like, oh, I was not fucking expecting this. Like,
yeah,
in the slightest.
Yeah. And I think it really made that moment better, in my opinion, because if it was just another throwdown, it would just seem a little bit too formulaic. But it wasn't. It was original. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. No, that's totally fair. And it is better than just seeing more energy blasts shot at each other, or, like, let me take this, out of magic sling and like tie it to you or something. Yeah, it was cool to have something different in there.
That's what I wanted, yeah, out of a multiverse movie. It was like, that when they were paint, when they were animation, when they were square blocks, those were all what I wanted more of in a Multiverse of Madness movie.
Could you guys tell when they were in the animation world, did it really seem as though I was trying to get a gauge if it was like the what if animation, which it didn't really look like, or just like a straight up 2D comic style animation? It seemed like it was more the 2D comic style. It didn't really look like the same features as what if. I was just surprised only because I thought that would have been a perfect opportunity to pop into what if world.
Yeah, it looked like a comic strip, you would see in the funny paper or whatever. Yeah, I don't know. It would have been cool though to see, what if,
Yeah, I don't remember it at all. I do. I remember them going through the different multiverses and one of them being cartoon-esque, but I don't remember if it was like Spider-Verse style or no idea.
Yeah, it was very brief, very brief. And I mean, like, I get it. They got to kind of make it you can't spend too much time in that type of stuff, but still. Looks like, John, there's a question specifically for you, my man. Did you think the cameos were wasted, or did you not care when they died? From Drew.
I did care when they died because I loved when they came in, but no, I wouldn't say they were wasted. I think to say something is wasted is to promise and not deliver. But they never promised us any more than a cameo. That was the role. The role was a cameo. So I just didn't find it to be wasted. There's so many roles in films, whether they're in superhero films or any other regular film, that I would never consider wasted because that's not the role. If this movie called Doctor Strange, The Multiverse of Madness had Doctor Strange for 3.5 minutes out of a 2-hour runtime, Doctor Strange was wasted because that's his movie. He's in the title. You're promising me Doctor Strange. But when Mr. Fantastic or Black Bolt die within 5 minutes, yeah, I cared that they died, but I didn't think they were wasted. That was their role. That was the point of them being there.
Yeah, that is a very great way of putting it. I would agree 100%. And I think, of course, if I was not willing to or able to put my expectations at bay as far as with the cameos, then I do understand where that level of kind of frustration or disappointment more so would come from a lot of people. But that was very summed up nicely there, which is just saying they served their purpose for the movie. They were not there to take.
Dan, are you live?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was me. No, Jace. Look at this face.
Jeez.
He's just thinking. He's just thinking his thoughts through. That's what he's doing. Well, until that gets fixed, Dan, what are your thoughts on this?
Are we back?
Oh, what? How do you come back in the beginning of a statement? Usually people come back in between a statement, but you always come back right in the beginning of a statement, Jace.
I did. I don't even know what happened there. That was so weird.
I gave the question to Dan while you were frozen in time.
Okay. Well, I appreciate as far as you keep it going, everything. That was.
So Dan, what'd you think?
So the first time I saw it, I pretty much thought it was a wasted opportunity. Bad writing. And I was just let down. But then the second time I saw it, when I went in without, my expectations that I had before the first time, I liked it a lot more, and I saw that was their purpose. Like you said, that was their purpose in the film. They did their purpose. This wasn't called Illuminati, the movie. And yes, I wanted more cameos, but not too much. I didn't want it to be cameo the movie, but
Yeah.
I still was expecting more multiverse and more madness in a movie called In the Multiverse of Madness.
I feel you, Dan. I feel you. Jace, you're back. Happy to have you back.
I'm afraid to talk. It's gonna take me back again. Don't take me away again.
It takes me back to Nam.
I really have. That was beyond bizarre there. So I'm not even trying to give an explanation. Just appreciate as far as you guys being here, so that it wasn't just if this was one of my solo streams and that shit took place, it'd be awfully weird. And I highly doubt that someone would go ahead and stick along. So yeah, if anything, I heard kind of at least the bits and pieces, and apologies as far as that I'm missed maybe a majority of that. So Dan, it sounded like you just didn't feel that the cameos were wasted either.
Not the second time. Yeah, the first time I did, but the second time I appreciated that scene a lot more, and
Nice.
I got what it meant.
Yeah, it's definitely exactly. It served its purpose, and I think what the biggest thing to focus on here is what it's setting up for stuff to come.
Yeah.
Right? Just as far as like when I was like posting to share this link and everything, that is the biggest takeaway that I actually am. It's one of the things I'm most surprised about as to why people are like having such conflicted emotions about this. Because I get it, maybe it's not the introduction that you wanted or you thought or expected would be to come, but the fucking Fantastic Four, the X-Men, and the Inhumans are now official in the MCU. And I say, people could easily be like, well, there was the ABC Inhuman show. Well, fuck that show, okay? And I have no idea as to whether that's actually canon or not. It seems like it probably is, but
multiverse-wise, it's canon.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I'll throw it into it. Like, just like how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is technically not canon anymore. Well, hey, just for another universe it is. So, Yeah, but with that being said, man, I think it's just really cool that, okay, we got a chance to see them. Would have loved to see more, but they played their part. And now we know as far as there's a lot set up for the future. And I think that that's fantastic.
Yeah, Jace. I didn't even think about that until you shared it in the chat after I saw it. I was like, that's a good point. You know, they introduced all these big groups that, for the most part, in the MCU.
Yeah, right. And I mean, that's shit that we've been begging for years, man. For a while, we've known that we have been dying to have the X-Men characters back in the MCU. People for the longest time were talking about when Avengers was like really popping as far as the main group of them, and it was like, dude, we got to do Avengers versus X-Men, and they still can.
I have, because you're talking about how this introduces the big groups, and of course it introduces the Fantastic Four. I love the Fantastic Four, dude. I just have this thought, right? If I was to write the Fantastic Four movie, I would have a scene where we show the scene from Multiverse of Madness of Reed Richards being torn into spaghetti, and then John Krasinski waking up from a nightmare. Because as you know, when you dream, that is another multiverse self.
It's funny because I've actually had like that thought before. So it's weird to think that maybe it's like, oh my gosh, what if we're onto something that's real?
Being turned into spaghetti, Jace? You freak.
No, not like that. I've never had a dream of that though before.
Yet.
Yeah, yet. Little did I know later that evening what would be in my dreams.
That little heart attack when you forget, when you look into your pockets and you don't have your spaghetti.
Oh, I want to mention this before I move on, as far as, because there's a couple more comments come through, but I really wanted to also toss in still about the Illuminati. So someone was kind of bringing up this idea, and Dan, we were somewhat mentioning this on like last stream, but I wanted to dive back into it because it ties back in with us talking about how the Illuminati is like maybe not actually the heroic heroes that we think that they could be. They were talking about the fact that someone I heard talking about the fact that Mordo in 838 has the Eye of Agamotto, and apparently that still has the Time Stone, which they were essentially saying, who's to say that Mordo would not just reverse time and bring back the Illuminati, and that they would then, since here, and this is what I thought was crazy because it kind of sounded valid at this point. So they were saying, since the Illuminati in that Earth has already been tracking the multiverse, and they already know what Earth that our Doctor Strange is from, right? She's the Christine Palmer's character, Night Nurse, says right away, you're Earth 616, according to us. My point being, if Mordo brings the Illuminati back, and then they now seem dead set on vengeance, because, right, they knew, they were like, we're fucking killing our Doctor Strange because he caused an incursion. Now we have this other Doctor Strange we just encountered, and shit, dude, he brought the Scarlet Witch over to our fucking universe, right? And then essentially killed us. So it would make sense that they would be on a quest for vengeance against us. And if that was the case, that would be like the closest and most logical setup, at least of what we have right now in the MCU, to X-Men versus Avengers. And at this point, it could be X-Men, Fantastic Four, and Inhumans versus the Avengers.
I love your thinking, Jace. I don't see it happening.
Hey, look, I don't know either. That sure as hell wasn't my theory in the first place about resurrecting the Illuminati. I kind of figured, why would you bother? It's the multiverse. There's many versions of them. But it all kind of logically added up.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. But yeah, that'd be cool. Did you see the speaking of Mordo, there was going to be an opening scene where he got slaughtered by Wanda, where our Mordo 616 got slaughtered by Mordo, slaughtered by Wanda.
I'm really glad they didn't do that.
Yeah, of the reveal that she's a villain. You know, I thought it was cool. You know, she knew America's name and he never said it, and then. Because surprisingly, that surprised me. I don't know if it surprised you. I didn't think that she was the one sending it until that scene. And she's the one sending the monsters.
I had an idea, but still to have it confirmed was definitely cool. Like, oh, and to be honest with you, it's not even so much that I prefer that reveal. I do, right? I'm glad they went with that, but that's not my true issue of the whole idea of the Mordo scene being in there in the beginning. I just don't like our Mordo going out like a bitch like that.
Me too.
Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like, dude, we ended the first Doctor Strange with him just being a pretty imposing badass realistically, and kind of on this interesting quest that he was on to try and eliminate sorcerers. And so, yeah, that would have been really disappointing if it was just like, hey, he's back. Never mind. All of a sudden, like a Thanos and
Plus,
Endgame.
Plus, it would have been a weak villain reveal for Wanda because Mordo is already a villain, and her killing a villain, it's like, was Wanda really a villain? I mean, thanks, Wanda, for killing a villain.
Yeah.
So I like our reveal better, what we got better.
Yeah, and plus, my hope is that Mordo comes back to be like the main antagonist potentially in the third movie.
I don't see Mordo ever being a main antagonist. I see him more being like one of those side antagonists that's always like nibbling at Doctor Strange's ankle.
That's fair, and I'll take that too. I just think it would be very fitting for him to, again, with his idea and concept of wanting to take out sorcerers, and now he has all the more reason in the world than he ever did before, because you got Doctor Strange out there potentially causing incursions and colliding universes. He'd be like, dude, you're fucking way more dangerous than I thought you were.
Yeah.
So at least I could see it. Just kind of fly through some stuff here. Katie, what's going on? Thank you for stopping
What up,
by.
Katie?
Also, it looks like we got
My mom.
Mara de Jesus.
That's my mom.
Hey.
No way! Mrs. Mom of Movies? How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. Let's see. It looks like Pierce was throwing in as far as the scene that we were talking about with Magneto potentially being in there. He was saying possible bonus feature, which would definitely be cool because even if it's not canon and actually part of the movie, I would still love to see that scene if they really did film it. I mean, I would say that about anything that they film. Like, I don't care what they cut from the movie. If you filmed it, fucking show it to us in a bonus feature of some kind.
Yeah, Jace, I agree. I don't know if they will though, but if anyone, director's cut, and I think Sam Raimi would be the one to fight for a director's cut. But they never get, Marvel never gets a director's cut really.
Yeah, I'm not under the impression like many people that we need director's cuts for every single movie out there. I wouldn't mind, of course. I really thought Sam Raimi did well here, and I'd love to see a director's cut. I wouldn't sign the petition though. Like I'm okay with what we got. Bonus feature, yeah, I totally agree. Give us everything. Yeah, it's not canon. We know it's not canon, but yeah, put in the bonus features. And when I buy that Blu-ray or 4K, I can go and check it out and see those scenes, unfinished or not. It would be really fun. That being said, bonus feature wise, did you guys hear about who was originally supposed to be Reed Richards?
Yeah, but I heard that was debunked a bit. And
Was
actually, this
it?
yeah, so, well, and here's what I can say debunked, and I'll explain why. So, right, Schofield thrown out, you hear about Daniel Craig may have been involved. So, there was talk that supposedly Daniel Craig was going to be Reed Richards. Now, that's definitely interesting, to say the least. I'm not saying I would have been against it, but at the same time, that I wouldn't have been as for that as I was for John Krasinski. I'm going to be outright honest about that. I am really, really happy and relieved that Krasinski ended up stepping into that role. Apparently, the other member of the Illuminati was going to be Boulder the Brave, which I don't know too much about that hero, but apparently Daniel Craig was Boulder the Brave, like to the point where like that was already a thing, again, to the point where from what I heard, like maybe even shot some stuff.
Who in some iterations of the comics is Thor's older brother.
Yes, that's about all that I know.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Think that would have been way more fitting. I could buy that a lot more. And again, it doesn't mean like I think Daniel Craig could have been a cool Mr. Fantastic. I'm very happy that that's not the way that it went. And I am much more pleased with the fact that, oh, cool, if he is Boulder the Brave or was Boulder the Brave, that potentially that's still on the table. That's actually something that I just wanted to quickly address that I've thrown out before. We were talking about like Tom Cruise's Iron Man with one of the past streams. And I really, really feel like anything that we heard about or that was speculated is still on the table. Like this movie was not like it's either this or it's nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
This was very much like a perfect opportunity to start to introduce stuff like this. But as far as Tom Cruise's Iron Man, I'm not sitting here guaranteeing shit, obviously, right? And I'm not going to hold my breath either. All I mean is if you really liked that concept and idea, don't feel like that's something you have to rule out entirely. If you really like the idea of Daniel Craig being Boulder the Brave, don't rule that out entirely. Like there's a lot of stuff still on the table of what's to come here. Again, hence the reason I think with this movie, one of the biggest things to focus on is what it's setting up for the future.
I have nothing else to add to that. I agree.
Yeah, Jace, I agree.
Well, thank you. We got let's see, View with Drew also should really not hope for characters from other Marvel properties that aren't in the MCU because it's Doctor Strange's movie. Yeah, I could see where people were coming from, though, because this was supposedly going to be like a celebration of everything Marvel. But they're saying that's what Secret Wars is going to be. So
What is he saying here?
I think he was just saying as far as like the disappointment behind cameos and everything. Just
Oh, I
saying, like,
gotcha.
yeah.
Yeah. I should not really. Yeah, I agree. I don't think people should hope for any of these things. I'm always a big proponent of you always judge the film by its own merits. Expectations help, but expectations should be left on the front door before you go into the auditorium and judge the film on its own merits. So, meant to say people shouldn't hope for characters from other. Yeah, Drew, I agree with you completely. And when it happens, right, it's amazing, and we scream and we shout and we just go crazy and we gush. But when it doesn't happen, for that to ruin a movie for us, that's weird.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because that should not be the basis of what makes or breaks the movie for you at the end of the day. You know, it should be something that is accompanying everything, but it's like the icing on the cake, man. Like,
Mhm.
do I want some good icing? Yeah, but does that what makes or breaks everything for me? No, I want a good cake first and foremost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Shane was throwing in that he thinks the biggest debate on the film is unfortunately prior to Thanos, the masses didn't know what was leading up to. 20 films ago, no one knew Thanos was coming, and so now, unfortunately, we are, if this continued, all looking for the big payoff. And so the individual film's plots seem to be a letdown to the common fans. People need to realize this project is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. I agree. I think people are waiting for that one post-credit scene of Thanos turning around in the end of Avengers, plotting a whole 3 phases of Marvel.
Mhm.
And we've gotten 5 films already from Marvel, 6 films from Marvel. And it seems like each film tackles its own major threat, and nothing has been leading up to much. But the multiverse has been a constant.
Oh,
It's been a
yeah.
constant in they mentioned it, I think, in WandaVision. It was mentioned with the Nexus level threat. Loki was all about the multiverse. Spider-Man was about the multiverse. Doctor Strange was about the multiverse. I think with that being the constant, I can only think that is where we're leading to, some sort of multiversal event, aka Secret Wars.
Mm-hmm. I think that is 100% it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I also think that, there was a point in time where I really felt like Kang is the next Thanos of the MCU, and I think he's still going to be very high up there. I think Kang is going to be one of the biggest threats that they're going to have to deal with for quite some time. But I think that instead of making like the next Thanos, I think they're just trying to say like, look, we're past that. This is not anymore like one big villain that everyone has to watch out for. We just opened the doors to the multiverse. Do you realize who the fuck we could be dealing with now? Anybody, anyone at the same time. Like, dude, everything's on the table now. This is not just Kang the Conqueror messing shit up. Now we got Doctor Doom possibly coming to the, as far as to the forefront of everything. The fucking Galactus could pop up at any point in time and start wrecking shit. Like, there is so much now that, of course, you don't want it all at once, where it's just kind of a bit overwhelming, or feels over the top. But yeah, I don't think it's just like leading up to one designated thing. I mean, Secret Wars, but that involves a lot. There is
Yeah.
not just one set path. This is not the Infinity Gauntlet, and you need the Infinity Stones, and it's kind of a set story. No, there's just a whole bunch of shit going on, and eventually it's all going to converge into this madness, but not
Yeah.
multiverse of madness. Well,
Yeah.
yes, but not the movie. Yeah, you get my point.
Yeah. No, I got you, man.
Got Ricky with us. What's up, Ricky?
Ricky,
Hey.
what you doing up, man? It's probably really late over there.
Well, he's currently wondering what the heck we did to Dan.
Overboard with the fake tan. It's blood.
Hey,
Ooh, what up, Eric?
Eric, my God, what's going on, man? It looks like he could not have been happier that we were talking about Daniel Craig.
Oh my god. Man, Eric, what is your issue?
Oh man, no, I mean like it's even even Schofield knows what's up, right? He's like, you came at the right time. I'm
Oh
talking
my
about James
God.
Bond. You know me too well. Dan, you want to take a quick moment and maybe use this as a time. I'm gonna try something very quickly, and I know it's gonna cause my camera to like go out and in for another second, but it's with my connection. I want to give this a shot. If you guys don't mind talking while I do this for a moment.
yeah. So I was trying to make it look like Wanda with the blood dripping down, but the blood didn't really work out that well, and it just kind of all in my face. And I was kind of trying to spread it around and stuff. So basically, yeah, trying to look like Wanda with a bloody face, and then I opened up with my shield, like pretending that I was impaled by my shield. Um, that
But
was
I thought it was just Dan holding a tray of pizza. Classic Dan.
Okay, it should be back. Is everything okay at the moment over here? Things
Yeah.
like okay, cool.
Cheer.
Choo-choo. Well, was there anybody? I wanted to go ahead and mention this. There's a question that I've been dying to throw into the mix here, and it's involving again with the Illuminati. Because God damn it, that is one of the most interesting parts of this whole thing. Was there anybody that was not a member that didn't pop up that you guys would have liked to see? Not even one of those like, oh, I was really disappointed they didn't have this, but now just kind of sitting on it. Was there anyone like, damn, kind of would have been cool to have something like this, or I think it was a missed opportunity they didn't have that.
I would say Jared Leto's Morbius. No,
Heck yeah, yo. Dan out here morbin.
Morbin.
Oh my God. I can't even imagine, bro. I think people would have just like, you probably would have had some people just leave the theater.
It would have been funny if they made fun of themselves somehow, like Morbius.
Yeah, can you imagine, Dan, if Morbius was on one of the seats and then he does that stupid line from the movie? It's like, how far can you get with the cure before the cure becomes the disease? And Doctor Strange is like, what the hell are you talking about?
Mordo was like, he doesn't even go here.
Somebody should actually edit into the scene where, like, when Mordo is introducing all the members of the Illuminati. It'd be great if he was like, saying he's like, all right, this person, then this person, and then somebody adds in the clip where it's just like, and I'm Michael. What does he say? Like, and I'm your friendly the neighborhood doctor from Michael Morbius. When he's the part where he's like, I'm Venom. And he's like, no, I'm just joking. Like, it's just me. And he says it in that ridiculous way that apparently is not even in the movie.
It's not.
That part. They took that part out. They just said the Venom part, and it just next thing.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird.
But
yeah.
Dan, what about an extra seat? And it was Tyrese Gibson. As who? As his character in Morbius.
Oh yeah, he's the detective.
Oh, he's in with the robot arm that he. Dude, he's hiding the wrong arm the whole movie, and then at the end of he's hiding like his right arm the whole movie. You're like, ooh, what's up with that right arm? There's something about that right arm. And then at the end of the movie, his left arm is the robot arm.
What?
I forgot all about it.
Was that on purpose? Like, did they explain like that was a it's all misdirection?
Nah, dude, there's no way.
They probably just didn't. Yeah, I don't know. And then let's get back to Multiverse. Yes.
I will say when it comes to Multiverse of Madness, who I would have liked in the Illuminati would be Namor, the Submariner. Yes. I would have loved to have seen Namor, especially because I believe that he will be a part of Wakanda Forever.
Oh yeah. No,
Namor,
I think that's
who's Namor? It sounds really familiar.
The Submariner,
he's Marvel's Aquaman.
Okay. Oh,
that's like the best way to describe it. Yeah, he's the Aquaman of Marvel. I mean, to the point where he's even like the king of Atlantis. It's all like down to the same details and stuff. No, I'm sorry, Dan. What's up?
We've heard of him before because that name sounds really familiar.
Not in the movies.
Not in the movies.
in an article or something recently? I've heard that.
Maybe
Well,
in
yeah, because there's been
articles, but I
there's
know.
definitely been talk for a while that he's going to be in Wakanda forever. So yeah, I'm right there with John. It seems like that's a pretty heavily, again, it's still rumored, but it seems like that's a pretty for sure thing.
In the new
Mhm.
picture of Thor: Love and Thunder, it shows
Yeah, Valkyrie, Jane Foster, Thor, and
in the
Bast.
yeah, someone from Wakanda, I think,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was that supposed to be a connection as far as to Namor?
No. I just thought it was cool that we saw another Wakanda Forever reference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll tell you what, speaking of Wakanda Forever, I feel like one of the things that could have been a cool drop in the Illuminati, and I get it, this is a difficult subject, and it's one I've had mixed emotions on for a little bit, and now it's come to a point of acceptance and moving forward. I think it maybe kind of sort of would have been potentially somewhat cool if they had a variant T'Challa.
Ooh. Yeah, Jace. I just
I
don't think
get it.
that'll go over well with the
It's a
majority.
touchy thing. Ooh, I think we'd be surprised, man. And here's the reason why. Because it's one thing if they were to say, "Oh no, our T'Challa's still alive. He just looks different now." That's one thing. But there is no denying that there are other T'Challas amongst the multiverse. And I
Yes.
don't think it should be off limits simply because of the situation that is at hand. Because here's the thing, man, when it comes down to it, I understand the respect for, I mean, shit, dude, I don't want anyone else to be our T'Challa. I wish Chadwick Boseman was still around and still doing the role. That would be fucking phenomenal. He was literally fantastic in that role. With that being said, now that we've had, I get it, not a lot of time. The second movie hasn't even come out, so trust me, I say this very lightly, very lightly. But it's not really fair to completely say that the stories with the character of T'Challa should once again be like off limits and non-touchable because of everything. And at the
I
end of the day, dude, he is in the comics one of the members of the Illuminati.
I completely agree. I was one of the people that
Or
said that
wasn't at first.
I was one of the people that said they should have recasted T'Challa in the first place. But while I do agree that it's not untouchable, I will say it is untouchable right now.
I think until Wakanda Forever comes out.
We'll see.
Because then at least you've got enough spacing between. And again, it will never be, no matter what, dude, no matter when they tackle that, there's going to be some ruffled feathers. You know what I mean? It's never going to be just completely a-okay. No one has an issue with this.
Yeah.
But again, I think that's where we need to, as an audience, just kind of understand, like, let's be honest here. And I don't want to speak on behalf of anybody, of course, and especially someone that has passed. So I did, again, with all due respect, I feel like Chadwick Boseman would have been like, dude, what the fuck? Let someone else play T'Challa, man.
I feel like
You know,
most
like, dude,
people
like,
that
I'm glad you guys love and respect what I did, and I always want you to remember me, but don't let the character pass along with myself.
I think most people that die and still have a character ongoing would probably say that, but it's just that we don't know. They don't have a voice for themselves anymore. And
No, of
so
course, but is it also his decision to make?
what do you mean?
I mean, even if he was able to, you were saying like we don't know, like you can't save him. It's like right, but I mean, at the end of the day, even though it's just purely out of respect, is it even something that it would need their approval?
Whose approval? Marvel's approval?
No, Chadwick's.
Oh, yeah, because if he was alive, Marvel would have done it, right? Like, let's say
Well,
something
no,
happened. Okay, explain.
basically. So you were just kind of bringing up like it's like right, but we don't know because he can't speak for himself as far as like if he'd be okay with the with another person playing T'Challa and everything. It's like right, and I understand that, but that's where I go back to like, but is it based on his approval of it entirely? Like in other words, if he were alive and was just like, nah, man, like is that really a reason to be like, okay, well then I guess we're not allowed to do any more T'Challa stuff?
Yeah, so yeah, I understood what you were saying. Yeah, like in the end, it's all the studio's decision. It's always the studio's decision, no matter how you want to paint it, how pretty you want to paint it. Oh, we're paying memorial to this person or that person. It's always the studio's decision. But just to kind of wrap up my thought on that, I'm with you, Jace. I just don't think that Marvel is gonna do it now. I guess we'll see where Wakanda Forever is gonna take it. But as of right now, like this very moment, I find it untouchable. But that doesn't mean that a week from now it's not untouchable, or a year from now it's not untouchable. I was just saying at this very moment, just the way people still are about the whole situation almost 2 years later.
Oh gosh, yeah. And when it comes down to it, again, I'll make sure to like finalize with a comment, just reinforcing the fact of trust me, in case anyone's thinking like that I'm referring to actually recasting Chadwick. There is a difference here. I'm referring to it'd be cool for somebody else to step in to play a variant of T'Challa, right?
Yeah.
Like a T'Challa from a different universe, just like how fucking Tom Holland,
Yeah.
Andrew Garfield, and Tobey Maguire are all Peter Parker, but they sure as shit don't look the same.
Yep.
That's all I mean, right? I mean, it's, and again, we saw in Loki, there's many different versions of Loki. Dan and I were talking about as far as how I thought it was a missed opportunity that there was not a different type of Doctor Strange in Multiverse of Madness, because they've
Joaquin
already shown that.
Phoenix.
Yeah, dude, that would have been fucking phenomenal, especially because that was supposedly a big rumored thing for a time. So I don't know, man. That's kind of again, I agree. I think it's definitely like to say too soon for sure. And trust me, if they put it in there, even though I'd be like, oh, cool, there would be a part of me that'd be like, damn, already, okay. But I think at least it's something, yeah, for like down the road. And I'll just leave it at that, right? It's down the road. Hopefully it's something that they kind of at least maybe just keep the idea open for. But of course, with that being said, I am extremely kind of just curious nonetheless and excited for whatever Wakanda Forever is going to kind of do, if whether it's going to be Shuri taking up the mantle or somebody else. I know people have been talking about like Killmonger coming back. I really fucking hope that doesn't happen. Not because I didn't like Michael B. Jordan as the character, but he died in the first one. And for the love of God, can some people just stay dead in Marvel, please? Just
The answer is no. If you don't see them die, they're not dead. They're not dead. Scarlet Witch is not
but
dead,
didn't we
Jace.
see him die?
No, we didn't see him die. He told T'Challa to let him die.
Yeah, but didn't I thought? And then didn't he like? Oh, he fell off a cliff or something.
No, he didn't fall off a cliff.
What the fuck happened with him at the end? Did T'Challa just leave him laying there?
No, dude, watch the movie again, Jace. That's not what happened. So they go in that PS3 video game fight climax. You remember this, right? And at the very end, I don't know if he stabs him or he gets hit by something, but he's clearly dying, like he's like bleeding out type of dying. And then as they're looking out at the twin suns, Star Wars style, T'Challa wants to help him and save his life. And Killmonger says, no, let me die like my ancestors that jumped from the ships. And that's all we see. Dan, you were going to say something.
No, that, yeah. So yeah, that's all we see. So yes, he was dying, and I mean, he's dead. We can assume that he's dead, but yeah.
You didn't see it. You didn't see it.
I'm sorry. And here's the thing, man. Even if he's not dead, I just really want to clarify. Even if he's not dead, I sure as fuck do not want him to come back and be the new Black Panther.
Not immediately.
Well, Jason,
not even ever, dude. He was an irredeemable character in the first Black Panther movie. Like I saw, there was no like he was a straight up bad guy and with a selfish, conceited personality. What the fuck? I don't want to see a redemption story of like how it's okay. The first movie where I was just ready to fuck over my entire lineage. Yeah, never mind. It's all good now. And now I'm Black Panther. No. I would not be down for that.
I love Michael B. Jordan.
I'm against that thought. I'm against that thought. I am all for a redemption for Killmonger. I think Killmonger in the What If show is completely irredeemable. I agree with you in that sense, Jace. I think the Killmonger in What If was horrible. But the Killmonger in Black Panther, he stole a couple jewelry things from a museum, and then he was very mean to some of his lineage. I mean, I may be underplaying it a bit.
Things that goes against the morals of
as a villain. Yes, Jace. Yes, you're not wrong, but it's not irredeemable in my opinion.
Maybe. I don't know. It would just feel so fucking weird. That's the thing is like I feel like that would feel so
I
unearned.
don't want
Unless they
him to
showed
be I don't want like Black Panther 2 to open up with him like I'm the new Black Panther. No, like I'd like to see a journey if he's alive. I'd like to see a journey that will end in like 5, 6, 7 years from now where he finally puts the mantle on if he's alive.
And
for sure. And that's at least at that point I'd probably be a little bit more accepting of it because right if it's fleshed out a bit more. I mean, hell, you could always say similar things about like Bucky, and be like, does Bucky really deserve to be
Dude, Bucky
have a
has
chance
done
for
worse
redemption?
things.
No, yeah, exactly. So I mean, I'm putting basically myself in check, right? And kind of like, okay, fair. If I'm gonna go off on, and be okay with Bucky being cool, then I guess I should at least kind of be open to the fact that that could potentially happen. Dan, you're throwing something in?
no, it's okay.
Oh, no, it's not, dude. What'd you want to say?
I think
Come on, Dan.
What
yeah,
what,
that's
what you
it
want to say?
for everything that he killed, everyone that he killed, right? Or was that what the dots were for on Killmonger's skin?
Yeah, when he was in
Yeah.
the military.
Oh, he was in the military. Yeah. I don't know. I was gonna bring up Bucky as well. Um, but the thing with Bucky is he was controlled. He was mind controlled doing that stuff. But because people didn't want him to be Captain America because of that, he's done bad stuff, and Sam really hasn't for the most part. So I don't know, but Bucky wasn't himself.
I get that.
That's true. Yeah, it's very true. It's very true. So it's harder. It's still a comparison, but not the most fair of comparisons. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's but I was gonna make the comparison too.
Scarlet Witch wasn't herself either, apparently.
Yeah, so um, it's we watched. It's more apparent that really it was like the final couple episodes when she realized what she was doing. Yes, Vision tried to bring it up to her, but I don't think she knew that she was causing them so much pain.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. It was something that eventually kind of got snapped into what was happening for sure. Does it really? I don't know if it's that's kind of funny though, because like here's the thing. So Bucky was brainwashed entirely, right? Like that was just truly against his free will, no question. Like he was basically just a puppet at that point.
Mhm.
Wanda just forgot she was making people puppets. You know what I mean? Like I don't so I find that less forgivable because it's like, yeah, she may have temporarily forgot, but your
So,
your fucking,
yeah,
temporary amnesia is not like okay, the fact that you still did this shit.
it's texting and driving. You're texting and driving. You run over somebody and kill them. Oh, but I didn't mean to kill them. I was texting and driving. Yeah, dude. You then how's that any better?
That's I mean, yeah, a bit savage of a comparison, but yeah, it is, right? It's like, look, you still did this, and I get it. You were not aware of what was going on, but again, that's the only slight difference. This is not like somebody was legitimately possessing or controlling Wanda to make her do that. She did that shit on her own free will, out of just pure emotion and outburst of anger and sadness and all that type of stuff. But nonetheless, you fucking did that.
Hmm.
Right. And it just so happened that your anger and your sadness and all that shit drowned you to a point where you were able to forget what was real temporarily. And you bought into your own lie. But once again, that's you doing that to yourself. And I find that absolutely way less forgiving. All the more reason why I was absolutely bullshit that Doctor Strange was like, nah, it's all good. You said everything right in Westview. And I knew that, there was never any doubt in that. What?
Here's your
What kind of
lunchbox.
ridiculous fucking statement is that? I mean, do you guys have as much of an issue as I do with the fact that he just completely disregarded the events of WandaVision?
So
Not really.
But
my
that's
thing,
how she got the Darkhold.
this is what I was thinking about. There's a possibility Doctor Strange doesn't know everything, so he might not know that they were suffering.
Maybe.
I think it's very heavily implied. I highly doubt that he has any sort of thought that, like, she took over an entire town of people with just her mind, and they were all living happily ever after until we fucked it up.
I just think for the sake of storytelling, we can't always hit all the beats, unfortunately. And so that's why it didn't really bother me. I mean, it's even now, 4 years later, we're still getting blip jokes with his partner that used to work in the hospital with him. my cats died when I came back. Like, we're still
Oh,
making jokes about the repercussions of the blip. Maybe we'll still make jokes about Westview years from now.
Yeah, and potentially it like I said, it just seems weird that the one time that they could have easily capitalized on it, like it just made so much sense. It was so perfectly laid out for you. Like it's like a I don't know, it's like a shot in pool, man, where it's like, okay, look, as long as you can like make the stick hit the ball, you're gonna get this in. This is a guaranteed shot. And then they were just like, let's try a trick shot. And then it just popped all over the place and then like did a 180. And I just mean that because like, again, do I have a huge issue as far as I'm still happy of what the events that took place in Multiverse of Madness. But again, it just seemed weird that you have the writer of WandaVision writing Multiverse of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
And yet they themselves refuse to go with the connection that they've already laid out. Like it was very bizarre as far as a writing choice. The whole events of Westview themselves, dude, everybody expected Doctor Strange to show up because of that. Just right, he
Yeah.
detects that chaos magic is being used at large, and there was the whole heavy big rumor that he was going to show up at the end of the show, and everyone was down for that. Now all of a sudden, it's just like completely disregarded. No, instead, I need to come to you for something else. Why? Why even bother trying to come up with some other justifiable reason for him to go to her? You already have one that you wrote.
I just think that they just wanted to try and execute a concrete story. And if they were in any way try to implement some sort of explanation as to why Doctor Strange wasn't in Westview, people are going to be mad. Either you're going to put a half-assed reason and people are going to say that was a half-assed reason, or you're going to do a big explanation and people will come out of the movie saying, man, that was a good movie, but that Westview part was weird. It seems so out of what the movie was all about. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it didn't really bother me because I just felt like it wouldn't have added to what the story was trying to get at anyway.
But it's more so they threw something else in placement of it is what I'm getting at. And in other
Mhm.
words, like the whole what they decided to go with was unnecessary as far as the introduction to why Strange and Wanda need to come face to face. They already had a perfectly good reason as to why there would be some confrontation between them. And so instead of trying to have both, instead of showing them or showing us what they did and trying to have some whole Westview thing, no, forget what you did. Just go with the Westview thing. Make it so that, look, I mean, this story already ties heavily enough to WandaVision to the point where no one could sit here and say, well, they probably didn't do this because they didn't want to make too heavy of a tie to the show. This is already like WandaVision's second season,
Yeah.
in a movie
Yeah.
format to a certain degree, of course, mixed with a nice Doctor Strange story. But if you're going to, what was the big point I was trying to get to here overall was just to say that Doctor Strange, it could have started, the movie kind of almost could have initiated by like, we got to go confront Wanda. And then him confronting Wanda could have been him realizing that, I'm just here to talk to you about Westview, right? I'm just trying to find out what's going on, maybe put you in check because you're using chaos magic and that's some dangerous shit. And then as he goes to like check in on her, that's when he stumbles upon, what the fuck are you doing? You have the Darkhold? Holy shit! Wait. You're sending demons and other universes after a fucking being so you can get to your children? Like it just seemed that again that almost was already right there, and then the guy was just like, "No, I'm gonna find out a different way to go do this." It's like, but dude, again, you wrote it. It's not like someone else stepped in to do the movie and they're like, "We want to come up with our own story." So that's my big thing is like it still worked, but it feels really odd to be so dismissive of the events of WandaVision when they even make an effort in the show to show how traumatizing it is. And
Mhm.
she didn't put things right. She
I'm
let them
just
free and then ran
I'm
away.
I'm just almost sure they'll mention it somehow. It'll be another mistake that Doctor Strange did that someone will mention to him about, oh yeah, you really blew it with not seeing that whole Westview incident, huh? And then he'll explain why.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, that's it. At least I hope. But even then, I'll tell you what, like, even if they make mention of it later, I'm still going to always think, like, but that was a wasted opportunity. It just is what it is, right? It's not like, I can't forgive the movie for it. Trust me, I'm heads over heels over the fucking thing. But that's just, it's a very odd choice, right? There's no convincing me that's, like, not an odd choice to some degree.
I gotcha.
A lot of comments that came in so far that I'll still jump back to as far
Yeah,
as some.
I was
'cause
gonna
there's
say
very-
we've been talking for way too much. Let's get to some comments.
But let's see. We've got the vegetable addict, which I believe I know who this is, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is someone I know that I don't know if he wants me to say the name or not. But if it is indeed who I know, that Cyril, yeah, I believe that's you. So what's up, man? If that is indeed you, and can we talk about how brutally slaughtered the Illuminati were?
Yeah.
We definitely at least kind of were touching on a lot of subjects with Illuminati. But yeah, that's one thing where I mentioned time and time again of how impressed I was with Black Bolt's death. And yeah, I think that is hands down the best death in all of the MCU so far, or quite possibly one of the most brutal ones, right? But I don't know. Do
Yeah.
you think?
100% the most brutal death in the MCU, one of the best deaths in the MCU. I want to know how they were able to keep a PG-13 rating with that death, because I keep running it over in my mind. I even see clips on Instagram. How were they able to keep that PG-13? Like, honestly, I'm not just saying like, whoa, but it was so cool. Honestly, as someone that's genuinely curious, how are you able to keep that PG-13? What was that little thing was the blood a little bit green?
Yeah, exactly, right? That's a good point, because I didn't know. I mean, dude, yeah, they did not hold back, blood everywhere. Like the fact that you saw his eyes fill up with blood after his, the head turned into a diaper, and like, oh my gosh, man! And the way he just like even hits the ground, I feel like was so traumatizing. Like the whole thing, and I don't know honestly, to a certain degree, when you really think about it. What was more traumatizing? The way the Black Bolt went out, or the way that none of the other members of the Illuminati seemed to fucking care? They literally they gave
Hold on, one by one.
zero
One by
reaction.
one. One by one.
Zero reaction, dude. Absolutely none whatsoever. I thought that was so heartless, and I do think that that's just another attribute to
Yeah.
point out that that they clearly didn't film all that shit together. There
Yeah.
was no way. I think they confirmed that only Peggy Carter and Captain Marvel were the only ones actually in the same room while shooting that scene.
Vegetable addict. Can we also talk about how Maria Rambeau is possibly the worst Captain Marvel? She died by having a statue fall on her.
That was such a pathetic death, man. Like you're gonna tell me that even if she was in a weakened state because of the fight, you're gonna tell me that she didn't have some possibility like putting up a force field or literally the fact that she even just on her own, can't withstand that?
Carol Danvers freaking shot through Thanos' ship and Endgame and like made it Swiss cheese. But a very big statue falls on Maria Rambeau and kills her. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I know that was very, very unpleasing, and especially comparing to the other crazy deaths. Like when you go through all the deaths of the Illuminati and then just look at hers, it's nothing in comparison to how everybody else gets taken out. Nothing. Like everyone else, it's so much more brutal. And it's actually, I find it funny that, don't you think it's odd that they were able to get away with showing what they did with Black Bolt, but they for some reason could not get away with showing Peggy Carter like actually being cut in half?
I don't get
Yeah,
it.
it was like,
That
right?
would have been a
Maybe they had
cleaner
to choose.
death.
It would actually,
it would have been cleaner because you even like think about Darth Maul and Phantom Menace. You just got to show two halves falling off. There wasn't even
you
blood
don't need
in Phantom Menace.
guts. Yeah. Well, that makes sense in Phantom Menace because it's a lightsaber, so like he's probably like cauterizing the wound as he's like slicing them in half.
Yeah, you're
But
not wrong
nonetheless,
there.
so it's the same point though. Like, and here's the thing: again, you don't need for it to be over the top. It could easily just be something where like she's cut in half, and again, yeah, you don't need guts to spill everywhere. You don't need blood splattered. You already had blood on the shield. That's
Oh, Jason,
implied. So
my idea was you know how it's blurred when the shield hits, the background's blurred. So my idea was when the shield hits the thing, you see in the background her top half falling off her bottom half.
Yeah.
But
okay, while it's still blurred.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And that, I would have even been okay with that, honestly. Right. Because at least they're still showing two halves of her.
And
Otherwise,
in the same vein, we got the best death. We got the freaking stupidest, just punk death in Captain Marvel. I just can't believe it.
It really was. It was disappointing, man. It was definitely disappointing. And, it makes me think as far as like if there really were supposed to be other appearances in that scene. There's a big, heavy, from what I've followed, rumor that there was supposed to be like helpers for the Illuminati during that scene. And if there supposedly were, I wonder what the intentions were of like who was going to be there and how they were going to die. Because damn well she was going to fucking just murk everybody.
Yeah.
No survivors except for Mordo in his little pit. How doesn't he have like little rocket boots? Don't they show that? Isn't there like a moment where like he gets like hits us and then like he like stops himself with his rocket boots or something like that because they like give a thrust to like stop? I don't know. I could swear there's a moment where he like uses them temporarily and then it's just like they're not there when he's in that pit. And it's not even that like deep of a pit. Like Doctor Strange just like does one leg hop on a wall and then gets out of there. Like, dude, you can't do some parkour tour or parkour 2 with the, braided Mordo. You're going to just stand there and just accept your fate and just like, I guess I'm stuck here for the rest of fucking existence.
It's embarrassed.
I don't know. It was, yeah. Thought it was a weird excuse to have him just like, oh, we got to have it where he survives somehow. Well, then have him fall in this little tiny pit and then just make him not be able to get out. Really? Okay. Let's see here. As far as drawing backwards a little bit, because we were talking about maybe who else could have been in the Illuminati, and thought this was kind of an interesting one. Schofield was thrown in a while back. Would Calcius, the villain from the first film, be a good member of the Illuminati? Maybe he wouldn't be boring as hell this time.
Caecilius.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Not Calcius. Oh, my God. Is that a real thing? Calcius? That sounds like a real thing.
Calcius C.
Caecilius. No, but I do think that would have been cool just to have Mads Mikkelsen back.
Maybe he wouldn't be as boring as hell this time. Nah, man, I wouldn't have wanted him. I like the Illuminati has these big characters. Caecilius, even in the first movie, wasn't that big of a character.
To us, Black Bolt's not that big of a character.
Maybe not in the MCU. I agree with you in that sense, Dan. Not in the MCU, but in the comics, oh yeah.
No, he's a very big deal. And even honestly, there's quite a bit of animation that gives him some love too. He's popped up a little bit here and there. Even like the most recent Avengers cartoon, there was a little stunt where they had him pop up in there, and that was really cool.
Yeah.
Eric was thrown in, so I think there's a good chance that Daniel Craig could show up in the MCU at some point now that he's done his Bond. I mean, we are getting Bale and Thor, and this I won't take a lot of time back on it, but yeah, supposedly Daniel Craig is Boulder the Brave. Now, right, take that with a grain of salt, but that would be really cool, and especially even if it didn't happen for this movie, that'd be great if down the line we got it. And Schofield just mentioned that Daniel Craig is getting pretty old, so he would have to be joining soon. Hey, man, you never know because they got Charlize Theron as Clea now, and I don't mean to say like, oh, she's so old. I just mean like I didn't think they would pick her for that role.
Yeah, true. I mean, Daniel Craig isn't going to play a character that needs him for 20 years.
Yeah,
like a Peter Parker, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So maybe it is something where he just signs up. He's got a little stint to go ahead and maybe the next movie after whatever happens in Thor: Love and Thunder, maybe it could be a little brotherly adventure of Thor and Daniel Craig. Solo Stray Shane throwing out that Namor could be in Wakanda Forever or Fantastic Four. It would definitely be fitting for either, but yeah, I think there's a very heavy chance that Wakanda Forever is where we're going to get this. Eric saying, also, I'm not sure if we discussed this in the previews, Multiverse of Madness chats. Oh, previous, I think, Multiverse of Madness chats, but I think it's related kind of since it's premiered with this movie. Thoughts on Avatar trailer? I'm annoyed with people dumping on it.
Who's dumping on it? There wasn't enough to dump on.
Maybe that's what they're dumping on, is the fact that there wasn't too much in there.
It's a teaser trailer.
Yeah, it is. And I think that's right. Here's the thing is people don't always realize like the trailer should almost announce like this is a teaser, not a full trailer.
Could you imagine going to a movie? This is a teaser, not a trailer. Don't dump on us on YouTube. That would suck.
It's misleading though, because it does you do kind of forget that, right? As you're watching it, you're almost expecting like, cool, I'm seeing something. And I think, we're still adjusting to the fact that teaser trailers are so heavily limited in comparison to the content that regular trailers may give us.
Yeah.
Dan, what do you think? Are you excited about it?
Oh yeah, Avatar. I love Avatar, so I'm very excited for it. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't. Oh my god, that's the best thing I've ever seen about the teaser because it was a teaser. But I liked it. It looks good.
I was excited for it. My theater clapped and cheered.
Nice. Very nice. Well, I mean, that's
Yeah.
definitely good. I'm glad that there's some positive response because, a lot of things that people are saying is just like, I would have been excited for this if it came out 10 fucking years ago.
Hey
And
man,
and
shut up. You like Black Widow. That's what I would tell them.
it's definitely something where it's not exactly the most fair thing to throw out there. I mean, how many fucking movies have gotten sequels like years and years and years after they had come out and stuff, and it was still more than fine. And I think that, yes, to a degree I can understand where they're coming from, but I myself am not sitting here going like, oh, I'm not interested anymore because it didn't come out sooner. I've lost a little bit of interest, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, yeah, dude, for sure, I'm down. They're finally doing it. It's finally coming out. All right, cool. Let's fucking do this, man. I've been ready for
And
a while.
just wait for fall time, Jace. Once they start amping up the promotion, they re-release the first one, everyone will go back on the hype train.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I'm very curious because I remember thinking to myself with the first movie, how do I put it? It's not like I was against the concept of them doing more, but it seemed like, man, this is such a good, like, concise, leave it alone story. Like, you did your thing. What else do you have to tell here? But with that being said, I'm not sitting here like, I don't want to see anymore. It's just legitimate curiosity. Like, okay, cool. I really have no idea where you're taking it from here. So, all right, let's hop on the ride and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Pierce was thrown in. Well, in Endgame, they do mention an underwater earthquake in
Yep.
Wakanda.
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was something I was going to mention. I just decided not to. But they mentioned that in Endgame. Even in Iron Man 2, there's a part toward the end when Nick Fury's talking to Tony, and there's there's in the background like a board with dots on them, and I don't know what they are. They're like prospects of sorts, and one of the prospects is in the middle of the ocean.
Ooh.
Yeah, so they've been building since Iron Man 2, and yeah, Endgame had that quote.
That's pretty cool, though. I like that they're right. I love the whole, like, since day one, so much stuff has been kind of planned out, or at least scheduled, and kind of we hope we eventually get to this. It's really cool to see it pay off. And yeah, man, I love that they threw in a comment like that in Endgame. It just kind of shows that they knew maybe what was on the horizon.
Yeah.
What's up, Anthony?
Anthony, what up, man?
Michael B. Jordan would have been only choice in the multiverse T'Challa and the fans not revolt. Ooh, okay. So kind of saying when I was talking about a variant T'Challa coming into play, like what if it was Michael B. Jordan playing a variant T'Challa?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, right. That's my point. Would have been totally down with that. And for fans' sake, that whole additional layer of shock factor, right? Like all of a sudden, whoa, dude, it's Killmonger. But then all of a sudden, Mordo introduces him and he's like, and T'Challa. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that, right? And again, I do think that maybe at the moment, right, as of right now, if they were to do that, then that probably is the one they could get away with. Eric's thrown in. Also, can we talk about how She-Hulk and Miss Marvel are going to be the best Marvel Studio projects ever?
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
Yeah, no, oh my gosh, I feel so bad, man. We've discussed it a little bit as far as in the chat, but holy mother loving shit, that CGI in She-Hulk is
bad.
Like, it makes me feel like I was playing a PlayStation 2 video game at some points, and like I'm not gonna lie, I'm just not really down or excited for how they're portraying her. Gosh, it's weird because like I don't know what I would expect. I can't even say I know the character of She-Hulk inside and out as far as in the comics, right? I've never read a She-Hulk comic. I've read stuff with her in it. I've seen animated stuff with her in it, but never something super focused on her. But like, dude, there's a line in there where it's like, what's worse than dating in your 30s? I was like, bringing that shit up in a fucking She-Hulk show. That's what's like, dude, why are you talking about that? I just thought it was weird. And then like she even makes, that's one thing. That's one thing, right? Whatever. I can kind of push that to the side. Then she gets to a comment where someone's like, are you a hero or something? Or she just says like, I'm not a hero.
I'm going to charge my laptop real quick. Keep talking. I'm just going to charge my laptop.
For sure. She throws in, she's like, I'm not a hero. That's for, what does she say? Playboys and something like this type of person and orphans or whatever. And it was like, I'm pretty sure your cousin who is the fucking Hulk, who is also assisting you to get better at utilizing your powers, would disagree heavily with that. Like it's one thing if you don't consider yourself a hero, but why are you like just shitting all over him? Like that's something that's okay. You literally have a family member that's a fucking hero. Maybe you should chill your shit a little bit. What do you think, Dan?
So I liked that line. I thought it was funny. From the perspective, because from the perspective of us, that's not true, but we'd be like, "Ha, she's talking about Tony. She's talking about like it's a reference almost, you know." So like we get it because usually that's kind of true that they're orphans or they're narcissists. I don't notice that much, but billionaires, you know. But yeah, no, I liked that line. I don't know.
I like the fact that there's a reference to other characters. I just thought like, but why does it need to be a dig like that? Because again, she's saying it in a way where it's almost like, oh yeah, right. Why would you be a hero? Because only those types of people are heroes. And it's like, no, shouldn't it be like kind of the opposite about like why it's good to be a hero? And maybe it's you can't do enough good as just a fucking attorney, so it's good to be a superhero as well as an attorney. I don't know. I don't know, man. Also, I thought then there was another line. What was it? Where it was kind of funny, and then also the more it sank in, I was like, where is this show taking this? There's the moment where like Bruce is telling her, he's like, the transformations are triggered by
I
anger or fear. And
I
then
knew
she's like, she's like, that's like the baseline of being a female. And it's like, okay, it is a funny line. I get it. I chuckled when they said it. It was effective. But the problem is when you take it, and I don't mean to take it too seriously, but I kind of can't help it just a little bit because it is something still serious. This is not a fucking comedy series. So it was just weird of just like, come on, man. Like I did everything they're throwing at me with this trailer so far. I was like, I was so excited and still am. I'm still going to watch the shit out of it. And I think that Tatiana, as the titular character, I like her as an actress. I think she could definitely bring something cool to the role here. I'm just a bit worried and skeptical now after seeing that trailer. That was not what I was expecting in a bad way.
Man, Marvel TV's been letting me down. I'm not expecting much from this, man. I'm not expecting much from Marvel. Marvel shows, I should say. They've been letting me down for too long. I'm always giving them a chance, and that's where it ends. My expectations for She-Hulk, no expectations. Just really hope that CGI gets better.
Yeah. Oh my god. That was a bit tough to digest as a viewer. And it really was something where I mean, in our chat we threw in there's the thumbnail for the trailer when they first released it. And like the thumbnail of the trailer was one of like the most horrific CGI shots they could have picked. It really just looked like again something out of the early 2000s. Where, with all due respect, I mean, sure, there's probably a lot of people who put a lot of fucking hard work into that show, but that's the most you were able to get away with, and that's what you decided to put out and present as the thumbnail, the thing people will see first to click on your trailer here. I just thought it was, really weird as far as choosing with the marketing and everything. It just kind of, it's a bit disappointing given the fact that like you now have a chance to do something with Hulk that you've never really gotten a chance to do in the MCU, something that focuses a lot on I know it's a She-Hulk show, but he is still a main component of it, and it's just the focus, the way that they've shifted the focus a bit and the way they're going about it just again seems interesting, and I don't know how good of an interesting it is. I'm at this point, I have no expectations either, and honestly at this point I'm just hoping that works in my favor.
Yeah.
Oh, we got Angel in here. What's going on, Angel?
Ooh, what up? Go look.
Eric's curious about what Black Panther 2 will even be about. I have no idea what I will think of it. It's surreal that it's coming out this year already, supposedly. That's
yeah. It's probably going to be a celebration of Wakanda. And
even then, it's
Panther.
Like, so who do you, I mean? Do you think it's going to be more so instead of just a focus on one titular character, that it's more so like the leading members, if you will, of Wakanda and how they eventually kind of come to war with Atlantis?
Maybe possibly. I think it's definitely going to be a celebration of Wakanda and its people, and that's going to help lead into that Wakanda series we're supposed to be getting sometime in the future.
Yeah. But it seems as though, right, the exact direction of it. Yeah, Eric, I'm right there with you. A little bit confused, to say the least. Schofield throwing in that he thinks that the second Black Panther will have to pull a No Way Home to keep the Black Panther movies going. I'm not sure. Do you mean that as in, like, bringing other T'Challas? Because if that's the case, as much as I want to see a variant T'Challa, I don't think we need to, like, bring one from a different universe to take over for our, like, Wakanda situation.
But I get what you mean, Schofield, that we need a central figure for us to be invested in Black Panther. Like, I don't want to watch Black Panther and it's just about a community of people. I'm sorry, as endearing as it may be, I need to see someone in that suit.
Yeah. No, 100%. It'd be really weird to have something that takes place in that country, that with that all that going on, Black Panther's like the basis of everything with that story, and then to have no Black Panther.
Yeah.
But it looks like what he meant by that is be so good that it makes you excited to see what happens to the characters in the future.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, okay, and to be fair, that's exactly. I think right with anything, that's how you want it to go, is that it's done so well where it's like, cool, I leave here feeling like I saw a great amount, but I want to see more. Is this true? Killmonger pulls a knife out of his chest and kills himself and falls over? I mean, you guys are the one that were telling me about how it happened, or reminding me of how it went down. So I wouldn't be able to recall.
But I think he's just saying he pulls the knife out and then he just bleeds out or dies. Maybe, I think.
I don't remember this. I got to see it again then.
Yeah, I had to watch it again too.
All right, guys, tune into Man of Movies channels for the watch party on Black Panther about to take place tonight. Schofield throwing in, nobody has ever truly gone if their deaths are off screen, or if there is variance, or if there is Skrulls, or if there is magic, or if there is time travel. Disney.
Yeah.
That sounds like 100% something that was. By the way, that was Walt Disney who said that back in the early 1900s. Everybody, that was not
1934. He said that. He said, except for Uncle Ben, he's dead.
Oh gosh. I'll make this one quick as far as my answer anyway. Do you think we'll see it's Eitri, I think. I can't remember if it's spelled or pronounced differently, but Peter Dinklage's character in Infinity War, do we think that we'll see him again? Maybe Thor and Love and Thunder might make sense. I feel bad. I like Peter Dinklage. I don't care. I don't really like, if we never saw him in the MCU again, it would not faze me whatsoever. Sure, it does make sense out of all the places for him to be in Love and Thunder, but I don't see that being something that they're keen on really working towards bringing back.
I could not care less. Yeah, I could not care less.
Yeah, me neither.
Sorry, Eric.
Yeah,
but there is something else that he brings up, and I don't know. So at the end of the day, the Westview thing was resolved, and Doctor Strange is not the kind of character to concern himself with things that he doesn't need to be. He has enough on his plate.
Actually, that thought made me think of a good point. He's not the Sorcerer Supreme anymore, so maybe he wouldn't care as much.
Maybe.
But I don't know, like, dude, if that's the explanation, then, like, would he not really then give as much of a shit about everything he does in Multiverse of Madness? Like, if it's all based on the prospect of, like, well, you're not the Sorcerer Supreme, so that decides your level of caring, I don't really think that the title shows how much he cares. It's just something that was implying
even in Spider-Man No Way Home, he doesn't want to be in the fight. He doesn't fight any of Spider-Man's villains. He's like, oh, God. Here, press this button when you're ready. I'm going to go take a shit.
True. But, like, I don't know. I feel like this is something that, again, given the fact that he has to be aware. Dude, he knows of the Darkhold. I would think then he is also aware of the potential danger of a Scarlet Witch. And the fact that she's using chaos magic, I think that all these things would come into play as to why he'd be like, this does concern me, right?
But he's always like that, Jace. He's always, and that's part of his comedy, is he's always like that. He's like, yeah, I'm just making a spell. Oh, okay. What happens if the spell doesn't work? Well, if the spell doesn't work, then the whole universe cracks and we all die. Oh,
But like,
okay.
who's to say he couldn't have had that same nonchalant attitude about the events of Westview? Like, he didn't need to be like up in arms, throwing a fit, but he still should have absolutely had something to do with it. It was right up his alley. It's like, hey man, there's some crazy ass witchcraft going on in here, and maybe this is something that is at least worth your attention, given the fact that it's concerning one of the other Avengers. Again,
It's
you're right. It's just something where I don't think it's fair to say that it's just like, oh no, man, it's not worth his time. No wonder he didn't show up. No, I think this is enough in his ballpark to say that he should have had some level of giving a shit, no matter how little it was. Personally speaking. Personally speaking.
Anything to say, Dan? Okay. I'm good.
What'd you say, Dan?
I did have something to say, but it's fine.
Oh, you sure? That's the second time now. Do you go ahead? Just fire away, bud.
So my point is, we don't know how much time has passed between WandaVision and Doctor Strange Part 2. So, with your opening idea, he could have. Well, he didn't, but I'm saying, why would he wait until Doctor Strange 2 to go and get her? Like, so he should have already went to talk to her about it. So that's why they probably had to come up with a new idea of why he waited so long to go to her.
Well, but like you just said, they don't confirm how long it's been in between. So, if they would have said it's been a while, then it's like, okay, yeah, you need to come up with a reason. But it's like you never clarified how long it was after. So who's to say the movie couldn't have started with Doctor Strange showing up like right after the events of Westview, essentially?
And another thing, that didn't look like the same place she was living in Westview. She was living in at the end of WandaVision, because that had like a nice bed in the top, and at the end of WandaVision, she was in some dingy old cabin.
Yeah, but at the same time, what we saw in Multiverse of Madness was all her. It was all her mind creating that. So to be fair, it's like, who's to say what to take away from anything, right? Like, the cabin may have actually been real because that's when she was still studying the Darkhold and didn't have all that shit down yet, maybe. But by that point, dude, she's made an entire fucking like forest of those trees that she's picking and shit. So I'm sure she was able to just make a different house that she'd like preferred more. But it could have still been in the same area, is I guess what I'm saying, right? Just look different. What is Schofield throwing in here? I feel bad. I threw the comment up, and I didn't happen to take a look at it yet because wanted to hear out Dan there. I think Kevin Feige saw the final season of Game of Thrones and decided not to bring back Peter Dinklage again. Not only that, but apparently he saw Game of Thrones and then decided to tell the writer of Multiverse of Madness, hey, I want to incorporate some of that last season in here. Because I'm telling you right now, man, the part where she wrecks Karmatage, I was like, yo, this feels just like Daenerys taking down King's Landing. John's like, the fuck are you talking about?
I thought it was, and I think someone did confirm it, but there was some inspiration of Wizard of Oz.
What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Wicked Witch to surrender the little girl. So it's like the Wicked Witch asking to surrender Dorothy. You got Scarlet Witch asking to surrender America Chavez, and Oz being on the butt of all that. Karmatage in Multiverse of Madness. Yeah, so people were making the correlation there with this being very much some inspiration from Wizard of Oz, and I totally saw it.
It cut off at the very end. I didn't hear what you said with the very last part. I'm sorry. What'd you throw out there?
No, I think I just said I see what they're coming from.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. That's fair. Also, big correction here on Eric's part for myself, and I appreciate it because putting everything in check. And I do believe that as soon as I read this, yeah, you're right. The writer of Multiverse of Madness is the writer of Loki, not WandaVision.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
At least make maybe a slight bit more sense. Still not quite so forgiving on everything, but makes more sense. Would you guys want to see Raimi direct another Marvel project? Anthony's asking.
I guess my thing is, why not? I just don't know what.
The next Doctor Strange,
yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him writing it too. I don't.
Yeah, because unless the only other thing I could think of is, I feel like how they tried to do that New Mutants thing as a horror type movie, which I never actually saw, so I don't know how much of that really worked. But that seems like it could have been something up his element. I mean, I'm not like dying for a new interpretation of New Mutants, but still, at least like that could have been something X-Men related. Would be pretty cool to see him take advantage of. Yeah, I'm trying to think of other characters that there could be like a horror-ish element brought into them. Doctor Strange does seem to be one of the most fitting for it. So yeah, I mean, I'd be down if he came in to do the third Doctor Strange.
Dark Phoenix, an actual Dark Phoenix. I don't know.
Ooh,
I know
yeah.
similar to Wanda,
But still, yeah, that could be fitting. I could see that. I could see that. Schofield throwing out that makes sense that the writer of Loki wrote this. Loki saw a video of his past experiences in the first episode, and Doctor Strange saw a video of his past experiences. Yeah, just go ahead, taking some stuff that worked in one project and then go ahead and throw it into another.
Yeah,
that works. That works. Oh shit, we got Nick, the diss track, coming in here. What's going on, Nick? What's going on?
What up, Nick?
Looks like Eric was complaining or responding. I'm sorry to your complaint earlier, John, when you were talking about as far as Captain Marvel. We can just assume that Captain Marvel is not very strong in that universe.
Yeah, big assumption.
But she was the only one of the few people to like. She held her own the longest against Wanda out of the Illuminati members. So I don't think it's really fair to say that she like wasn't strong. I actually, and speaking on that note, don't you find it odd that she was able to take out Black Bolt with a thought? She was able to take out Mr. Fantastic with a thought, but then like Captain Carter manages to land a few punches on her.
Dude, because they're women. Come on now. Woman power.
Oh my God, John.
What?
Oh my God. No, I mean, yeah, I guess I can't disagree. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Okay, so hold on. I got to this is at least coming back up closer to where we were at. So She-Hulk is showing how the MCU is becoming way too woke. Do you feel like I feel weird even talking about this because it's such a funny like sounding subject, but what do you guys think? Do you feel like there's any legitimate truth to the MCU? You know, when people say it's becoming the MCU.
Legitimate truth that I would die on? No. But you'd have to be blind to not notice that there are moments when they do prioritize something like that. And as much as I was joking a second ago, Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic die off, yet Captain Carter is able to get a couple hits. Now, those are moments that just would not make sense in reality. If you want to just be logical about this, it just doesn't make sense. So are there moments like that? Yes. Even with back in the Loki days when we were talking and how Sylvie would like beat the crap out of Loki, and we were talking about like, dude, like you just introduced her and blah 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 and this, that, and the other. You just want to show because she's. But to say, oh, it's too woke, the MCU. No, man, no, not at all. Not at all. I don't. Especially when your biggest hitters are Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, maybe even now Falcon, Shang-Chi. Those are still like some of your new big hitters. How can you say MCU? But again, and I'll end it here, you got to be blind to not see there are moments that they do kind of just force it in.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. What do you think, Dan? Is it anything? I won't stay on it terribly long, but do you feel like it's something that's noticeable or?
No. Not for me. I don't know. It's harder for me to notice the kind of things, especially, I mean, we've also like grown up, I mean, most of the earlier superheroes were men, you know, in the MCU. So now we're just getting more women, which I think it's for the most part a good thing. Yeah, no, I don't, and you guys know I have a different view on wokeness than you guys, so I don't notice it as much.
Yeah, it's definitely something where, you know, it's easy to see why there could be different thoughts on and everything. And I do feel like there are totally some people that are looking way, way, way too into it, right? So like John, I would say I heavily agree with where you're coming at. Like it's noticeable, but I mean, not to the point where it's just like, whoa, dude, what are they doing? The only thing that seems to be interesting or odd about how they're going about it is there seems to be more of a heavier agenda and focus on like, it doesn't really matter what's going on so long as we have a way to put a female lead in there, then we're good, right? And it's like, but you're like losing the basis of what's happening sometimes, unfortunately, or like just good storytelling because you're sacrificing it for something else. And I'm not trying to say that like, oh, every project that has them as a lead or replacing a guy lead is not as good anymore. No, there's some of them that are fucking amazing, but it's like a consistent, like, okay, we got She-Hulk now, we got Lady Thor coming in, Riri Williams as far as Iron Heart is supposedly on the table, as far as like coming with a Disney Plus series, which is essentially a female Iron Man, if you will, younger female Iron Man. Captain America is still Sam or whatever, if you will, but we've also got Peggy Carter that's like thrown into the mix now as far as like a Captain Carter thing. Dude, the list goes on and on and on. Actually, as far as I forgot, someone was presenting it, and this person that was, to be fair, had way bigger of an issue with it. But when they were giving all these examples, it was like, well, you can't at least not acknowledge that. That's all. Whether it's like if it's actually an issue like some people see it as is a different discussion, but it is definitely something that's like noticeable. But hey man, look, as long as they're doing still like cool stuff and good stories, and like we said, I mean, like you can't acknowledge, or you can't not acknowledge that there's also like plenty of guy characters still. It's not like it's completely just okay, forget dudes exist.
Exactly.
No. So I don't know. I think that's a little over the top of a thought process there. Meanwhile, a different thought process to be thrown into the mix, Schofield is saying it's funny how Star Wars has disappointing movies but good Disney Plus shows, while Marvel has good movies but disappointing Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, I totally agree with that sentiment, Schofield. I've been saying that for months now about Marvel, particularly. I have not been liking these Marvel shows. I really have not. WandaVision and Loki, I thought were great. I was high on What If, and man, aside from that, I really thought Moon Knight was gonna be that turning point for me, and it wasn't, and it let me down specifically. And that's all I'm at there. So come Miss Marvel and She-Hulk, no expectations. I really don't care as much anymore.
But Star Wars is definitely killing it as far as with the shows. Like you could
Oh,
tell
yeah.
this was the right move for them to make. It almost feels like, well, not that this is what they should have done, because this just wasn't a thing or an option as far as back when like the first Star Wars movies were coming out. But this seems so befitting for Star Wars to be fleshed out in shows like this.
Yeah.
And yeah, they are just doing a really good job, with the exception of a bit of Book of Boba Fett. You know, that was it had its moments, pretty good overall, good Star Wars moments in there. But as far as a good overall show,
Dude, you're gonna hate me, but I like Book the Boba Fett more than Moon Knight.
no, I don't hate that comment. I mean, because the thing is, like, here's Moon Knight was so enjoyable for me because I am only so familiar with the character in totality, so it felt so fresh. It was something so different and so new, and the performances were, I felt like, stellar. I think Oscar Isaac killed it as each interpretation of the character that he was. I thought Ethan Hawke as the villain, as Harrow, was phenomenal. And do I think that it was like a perfect story? Oh, absolutely not. Do I think there should have been more action? A shit ton more action. Would I wanted to see more of Moon Knight in his own fucking show? Yeah, which is why I'm kind of relieved that there seems to be such a heavy hint at a second season. But nonetheless, again, it just felt really fresh. I was just really down for the ride. I was just like, yeah, like keep throwing it at me, man. I'm liking this. Finale fell a little bit flat. Didn't think it hit the the landing, or stuck the landing as much as it could have. But yeah, I wasn't really like disappointed or anything. Now, with that being said, even though I could say I think that has a bit better character development, and that's, in my opinion, is not even arguable. The character development in Moon Knight is way better than anything character development wise in Book of Boba Fett. Like, Boba Fett doesn't evolve, he devolves as a character in that show.
I was gonna say the Mandalorian's character development is pretty solid in that show.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Even more so than Boba's. In which I kind of get, right? How much are we supposed to see Boba evolve even more as a character? But I mean, if you're going to do a show on him, you got to be prepared to do that, though. So, throwing all that into the mix, the very last thing I'll mention is Book of Boba Fett still had like more hype moments, though. You know what I mean? Like a lot more like stuff when stuff was going down. It was just like you could really appreciate what was happening. Whereas Moon Knight was just kind of like, okay, whatever happens, happens. I'm not really familiar with the setting here. Boba Fett, you got a lot of Star Wars stuff that's like, oh my god, dude, Mando, Grogu, Luke. Yeah, like fuck,
Ahsoka,
okay, cool.
Cad
Exactly.
Bane.
Yeah, man. Right. So like, and because of that, I could actually understand the thought process of understanding that, or I mean enjoying that more. Oh, and also real quick, I just thought it was funny. He ended off with, meanwhile, DC is just all over the place.
Yeah. Poor DC.
Eric's being like, Whoa, what the fuck, guys? No love for Peter Dinklage? Yo, I
Mhm.
got love for Peter Dinklage, man. I just don't have much love for his character in the MCU. I just
Yo, I got love for Peter Dinklage, man. No
Jared,
love from.
it's
Game of Thrones actor.
Yeah, that's why he's saying it. Not for E-Tree, dude. Like I don't care about E-Tree at all. I'd rather see whoever served Tony Stark those donuts in Iron Man 2 before I see E-Tree.
who's gonna remember Peter Dingus was in the MCU?
Anyways. I feel oh my god. Peter Dingus.
Oh my
Big Dingus.
Ooh, and I thought this was okay. So just as much as Schofield gave us a little bit of a laugh there, John, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one because it seems kind of conflicting with your thoughts. So he's saying, "Damn, I forgot about Book of Boba Fett. That was worse than the Rise of Skywalker."
Dude, I don't have high praise for the Book of Boba Fett. So I disagree. I don't think it's worse than the Rise of Skywalker. I do think Rise of Skywalker was worse. I don't necessarily think Book of Boba Fett was a bad show, but I am not a defender of that show. I was week by week disappointed by that show. But in comparison, I enjoy Book of Boba Fett more than I did Moon Knight.
Okay, okay, that's totally fair. That is totally fair.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, there's an interesting back and fucking forth here between Schofield and Eric, to say the
Oh
least.
no.
Oh
Let's
boy, oh
instigate.
boy.
Let's instigate.
And here he is going again, trying to defend John over here. It's too late. It's too late, Eric.
Dude,
John
it's
knows everything.
yeah.
And you know what the best part is? You know what the best part is? You're going to fucking forget all of it by the time you watch that show.
Yeah.
Probably, man. When I'm like, I'm gonna watch that show when my daughter says, "What's Game of Thrones?" It's a long ways away, Eric.
That's probably the first time. That's exactly when your daughter asks, that's the first time you'll finally see the show.
Yeah, long ways away, Eric. I have no
Wow. Looks like okay
interest.
with
Boba Fett over Moon Knight. No, John. Yeah, man. And listen, like, let me preface this. I don't feel strongly about Book of Boba Fett. I am not a defender. I am not going to die on the hill of Book of Boba Fett. I refuse to. But I will die on the argument that, yeah, I like this so much better than Moon Knight.
Ow.
Moon Knight was disappointing. Very disappointing to me, my friend.
what do you think, John, would have given a chance for you to enjoy Moon
Enjoy
Knight
Moon
more?
Knight.
Like what?
Yeah, if it was a movie, and I've thought about this, and I've talked about this with you guys and other friends. Moon Knight had excellent story beats to be a 2-hour film in which you could have gotten everything we got in a shorter amount of time, feel more concise and tied up, and it would have allowed me to enjoy that story so much better than 6 hours of television where one story beat was stretched over 1 hour, and sometimes that story beat I didn't care for. So
Dan, do you think that Moon Knight would have been a good movie?
But John, would you have liked the same exact plot, just condensed down?
yep. Yeah. Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it could have been a good movie. But, like I don't know enough about the character, or I mean, I guess yeah, I think it could have been a good movie. Same plot, just condensed down a little.
Yep.
Because there were times, yeah, when I was let down. So I'm in between you guys. I think I liked it. I liked it. I was enjoying myself while watching it, but and I feel this way about really every MCU show since WandaVision. You know, I'm enjoying myself while watching it, and then it's over and it's whatever. And it doesn't help that a lot of the finales have been around the same time as a big MCU movie coming out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm. That's true. That's true. I thought this was fucking hilarious. Eric is like, hey, make Game of Thrones your daughter's first show.
No, man. I hear there's like nudity and graphic sex and stuff. I'm not.
Oh yeah, dude.
Nah, man. My daughter's first show is probably gonna be some like Disney Junior crap, man.
Yeah, this would be a bit of a rough introduction to television
Yeah.
to go ahead and
Yeah.
have her see that.
Oh yeah. And I'm way more worried about film than TV anyway.
Oh yeah. I thought this was definitely a great way to kind of bring us back in check just for the last little bit here. I don't know about you guys, but I kind of thought that this would be a way to start to ramp things up towards the close, right?
Yeah.
So at least not necessarily have to be an abrupt ending right here and now, but appreciate you, Schofield, because you're right. As much as we love going ahead and, it's just been a while since we've gotten a chance to have the Loki gang on a chat all together and live stream once again. So, right, it's just been nice to go ahead and kind of discuss with you guys fucking anything. And Eric was trying to go ahead and defend us a little bit, right? Hey, to be fair, it is the third Multiverse of Madness stream that we've done. So there is basically maybe a few things, but I'll start off with just this one that I want to just see what your opinion is on this, John, because we've talked about this in previous streams, came across this, and it's been burning a hole in my brain ever since. And I actually have been meaning to go back to the first Doctor Strange over and over. Dan knows exactly what I'm hinting at here. They seem to confirm in the first Doctor Strange movie that sling rings, the thing that Doctor Strange uses and everything, has the power to traverse the multiverse.
I don't remember that.
And this is something where it's like, and it wasn't even me that kind of brought it up. I had someone else that like addressed this to us and was saying that Mordo in the first Doctor Strange movie is the one that makes a comment inferring that they can go ahead and, like this has the capability to open doorways to the multiverse.
I do not remember this. I've seen Doctor Strange. It's been 6 years. In 6 years, I've seen it 3 times. 3 times. I don't remember this line being said.
I just watched it and I don't remember that line, but
No, yeah, for sure.
But the what if, I think the what if example is more. I remember that.
Oh God, yeah, Dan, I appreciate the hell out of you bringing that up. Seriously, shit. So this is even better. Okay, so even if that line wasn't said in Doctor Strange, there is the part in What If where Strange Supreme uses a sling ring to open up a portal to the zombie universe to drop all the zombies onto Infinite Ultron.
Yeah, so my argument to that would be that Doctor Strange is already full and gluttoned up with so much dark magic and spells. Who knows that, like, he's probably using some sort of multiverse spell that we saw even in this movie in order to open up something.
But
like, he literally gushed up every magical thing in existence. It makes sense that he's able to do that, I think.
Maybe it's not a bad point to bring up. Don't you think then that, let's just be honest here. And I think that this actually would have been even easier for them to do if that's truly the case, right? Like, no, let's put it this way. No matter what the situation is, clearly that Doctor Strange has the capability to do something with the multiverse, right? He can open portals to the multiverse. So the point being is whether it's because sling rings do have the capability to do that, or like what you're saying about how he's just gotten to this immense power so he's able to do so now, then why even bother bringing in the character of America Chavez? Why not have it where Wanda is searching the multiverse for Strange Supreme?
That would have been awesome.
Because Strange Supreme
Right.
Strange Supreme cannot leave that bubble unless a higher being like the Watcher allows him to.
No, it's strange. He makes that he conforms that thing himself. That purple dome, he makes that himself so that the universe doesn't really like implode. But that's not what he's watching over is a smaller dome that has Killmonger and Arnim Zola in there. Like that's really the biggest is he's just kind of like, hey, look, your universe is fucked, right? And you're just sitting in this desolate purple globe anyway. So now go ahead and watch over Killmonger and Zola and make sure they never escape. That's really his only thing. But it's never implied that, like, no one could ever find you or you can never escape somehow. It's just like, hey, you seem to have enough of a conscience to realize it's your responsibility to watch over this since you fucked up so heavily. So imagine, like, I guess that would, the more I think about it, the more I find that that's kind of actually ridiculous. You don't even need another person. It's already Benedict Cumberbatch, right? I mean, and just to have it where like Wanda breaks in through that purple dome or some shit, or she keeps sending demons after that purple dome to try and break in because she's like, yo, you could go through the multiverse and I need
dude,
that.
it's gotta be, there's gotta be a reason, whether it's what I said, or maybe it's the fact that the Watcher had them all in like this world between worlds area. Because why doesn't Strange Supreme just do that in his little dome and escape
Wait, why
to
doesn't he
another?
what?
Why doesn't Doctor Strange Supreme just do that in his little dome and escape to another multiverse? But he doesn't do that, which makes me think that there has to be some sort of limitation.
And also,
Maybe.
so I would
Yeah,
love
go for it, Dan.
I would love the the what if inclusion there. That would have been really cool, I think. But I'm just thinking now is maybe because she was like, okay, America Chavez is just a little girl. She'll be easier to kill and take her powers. I know Wanda's really strong, but I don't know. And maybe she did try the red gold, or maybe Marvel didn't even think about that. But I cool. Also, side note, it would have been cool to see a live action Watcher somehow in this Multiverse of Madness. Like even if it was just when one of the
Well,
they were like,
they were in Guardians 2, Dan.
oh yes,
Yeah, they did have the Watchers in there. Absolutely. No, but dude, and I think actually what it could have been cool? This would have been a perfect time for them to go ahead and like they could have done the like best of both worlds. They could have actually done it like this. You think, based on the trailers and based on everything they released, that it's America Chavez that Wanda's going after, right? And I mean, even that's probably hard to kind of understand that that's what was happening, right? From before you've seen the movie, you just see the trailers. It's hard to kind of tell that's what's going on. But nonetheless, what if that's what it's kind of like shown as and hinted at? And then throughout the movie, she does chase America Chavez and blah, blah, blah. And maybe something takes place where it's like, this is causing too much of an inconvenience. I'm just going to go find another being that can traverse the multiverse. And then she ditches her hunt for America and then instead goes after Strange Supreme. It would have been a chance to do both. I know it would have been like a bunch that you throw in there now, but I mean, fuck, it's the Multiverse of Madness. It would have given, I mean, you would expect you to do that anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It would have been at least a cool thought / concept to go ahead and have them be in there. Again, inclusion of the what if stuff would have made a lot of sense. And I feel like it's something that I'd be very curious. Like whoever is behind the writing of that, I'd love to dissect their brain and very much try to get an understanding of like what is going on here. Are you trying to kind of just show that, like how John was saying, is this Strange reached a point of such high power and magic to where his sling ring is just able to open a portal to the multiverse because he knows how to work it the way it needs to? Or is it more so that the sling ring itself does have that capability? And the whole reason to bring this up in the first place is because if it does, it just makes America Chavez and the whole hunt for her individually way less relevant. Like, as a matter of fact, completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't you just get a fucking sling ring?
Also,
Also,
sling ring thing is weird. I don't believe it.
here's another thought, guys. Why didn't Wanda just go to another universe with her kids? Like, there's this big, like, no, she's going to the 838 universe. She keeps taking that Wanda over. She keeps going to those kids. And when she sees those kids and they're like deathly terrified of her, and she's like, oh gosh, what am I doing? Maybe I should stop all this. Why wasn't there a point where she's like, fuck it, I've already gone this far. If you guys don't like me, then I'm just going to go to a different universe where those kids do like me. And then just find another family.
Man, you got everything everywhere all at once on the mind. It's like, man, I'll just go to a pee-pee poo-poo universe then. Because Jace, they're just trying to tell one story. You can't always bring logic into it. Not always, at least. Not always.
Shut up. That involves story development.
Wait, John, Everywhere All at Once is your favorite movie of the year, right?
Oh yeah, hands down.
Mine too.
Yeah, love that film.
Yeah, that is. If anyone is watching and you haven't seen that, so right, if you're here because you liked Multiverse of Madness or the whole concept of it and everything, do yourself an enormous favor and go watch Everything Everywhere All at Once. That movie is fucking phenomenal and is like an absolute great.
It just opened. It just opened in the UK. I know Paul Tams just saw it, and he said the hype is real.
Yeah.
I'm glad he feels that way. I'm glad because I will say, I mean, there's no denying, even though I had more fun, I guess, if you will, with Multiverse of Madness because it's with superheroes and that's just my main thing. I love that so much. But I say that lightly because it's a different type of fun. That's all I mean, right? But even with the fun aspect of it, Everything Everywhere All at Once is a way better movie. Like it's just all in all, as far as right a movie goes, between the character development, if you will, the actual just emotional value or tone behind the entire movie, the message behind it all, and everything. It is one of the best movies I've seen in a very, very long time, and I cannot praise that one enough. I have a feeling that, I don't know what else could possibly come out throughout the rest of the year, and I don't want to hold it against anything else, but I'd be surprised if I ended up liking something way more than that throughout the year. Maybe.
I think it's one of, if not the best movie of the 2020s so far.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it's on my list of one of my favorite movies in general. Yeah. I loved it so much. But Jace, you haven't seen Morbius yet, so wait for that.
Yeah, that's true. I can't say shit till I see Morbius, that's for sure. And don't you worry, when that finally comes out, there will be 4 streams on Morbius.
Jesus, dude, Morbius.
Oh gosh. Well, and then also just the since we were talking about it with the other movie, Eric does not seem to share our love. He thinks it's really overrated.
Nah, man.
I don't know. Yeah, and I can't say I agree. I mean, it's definitely I didn't feel like it was overrated going into it. Like I actually feel like this movie got very, very poor advertisement. Like I didn't see a heck of a lot for it before it came out. It was just kind of like I saw the trailer maybe once, maybe twice, and it was just not much was said. Here you go. Here's another A24 movie. And I feel like it almost worked in its favor or something. So I didn't really hear too much going into it. Maybe that's where the hype is, or the overrated is coming from, of hearing people praise it up a bunch and then going to see it. I'm kind of glad that like the only people I heard hyping it up were you guys, really saying that like, oh no, dude, you're really gonna love it, and it's it's right up your alley and stuff. But still, I tried my keep my expectations at bay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it's overrated at all.
No, I don't. I don't at all. And I went into it when it was being overrated and everyone was saying it was the best thing since sliced bread. And I went to go see it with Francis. My theater was packed. I guess those people were also hearing the hype. So I went into it with large expectations that were met.
Me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. I mean, I'll leave it at this point, given where we got into. I think it's great as far as like to always kind of reach this time frame as far as with some discussions on this. And I do feel like as much as we got a chance to go ahead and talk about plenty of other stuff, which, for anyone that was here just for Multiverse of Madness talk, apologies that there happened to get some other things thrown into the mix there. But I do think that this is probably a fair time to, unless there wants to be any last like thoughts, comments, different things that we didn't talk about. Oh my God, you know what? I'm sorry. I am going to extend this a little bit because John, I'm dying to know, and I apologize because I know we were literally just about to like on the precipice of closing this out, but you mentioned that you had a theory of like,
oh yeah, man, this is something that I was thinking about. And I thought I'd bring it up here because we're talking about Multiverse of Madness, and my theory or my fan casting or whatever you want to call it of where I think they should take the next 3 Avengers film, if it's 3, because obviously the first saga was 4. So we get introduced here to the possibility of excursions. We get Reed Richards explaining it to us, and then we get Charlize Theron's Clea at the very end straight up say, there's one happening right now. Come and help me. So incursions are real. Incursions are happening already, as lighthearted as that post-credit scene was. So what is my idea of what an Avengers trilogy in this new saga could look like? Dude, it involves Kang the Conqueror. Kang the Conqueror has already been established in Loki, has already been said to be in Quantum Mania. He's going to be in Quantum Mania, and we have been hyping him up as one of the big bads for this new phase. And I think he will be. So what I think that first Avengers film coming into the new phase should be is very much the villain being King the Conqueror, whether it be one or 1,000 of them, but one at least to always look at and see as the big boss.
Mhm.
And have the Avengers, the new team, Falcon, Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, maybe an Eternal here or there, all go against King the Conqueror, all between these different multiverses because of America Chavez being able to open portals. And who's to say that she can't open more as the years come by? Multiple ones at once. Who knows? And so Team A goes here, Team B goes there, Team C goes there, all on the hunt for King the Conqueror to save the world or to save the multiverse as is. Have that movie focus on that. And at the very end, we get the victory. The Avengers win. They beat King the Conqueror, and have it be this moment where, be it Falcon or Shang-Chi or whoever the big hero is going to be, Doctor Strange, have King the Conqueror's final breath be something along the lines of, "It's too late. Like I've won," and he dies. And as we look up, an incoming world slowly we see from the sky, like an incoming world, another world. And an incursion is happening now with our characters, the ones that we follow, Earth 616 and whatever Earth they want to. And then for the second Avengers movie would be that, like imagine, I know you don't like this movie, Jace, but a better version of Don't Look Up, with them trying to figure out how are we going to stop this incursion from happening. So we have a lot of characters, some characters that are against it, some characters that are for it, but just trying their best to stop this from happening. At some point in this movie, the incursion becomes reality as it gets closer, and like in the 2015 comic series Secret Wars, like buildings are falling, fires are raging, it's chaos. And at the very end of that movie, a raft of our heroes get saved as the incursion does indeed end up happening. Which leads then to our third movie, which would be the remainder of Secret Wars, where an already established Doctor Doom would be ruling over a battle world of sorts. And the surviving raft of our Avengers now have to figure out how to manage this new world with a God Emperor Doom, who has already been established. And in this third movie, I would introduce a variant Infinity Gauntlet in which that is the only way to save the universe and bring it back to normal. A variant Infinity Gauntlet. So we are not done with the Infinity Gauntlet. I don't think we ever should have been done with the Infinity Gauntlet. It is way too powerful, way too big of a MacGuffin in Marvel comics to ever be forgotten about. And while Earth 616 no longer has Infinity Stones and no longer has a gauntlet, there are other worlds with it and just as powerful. And so that third movie is them trying to bring it back to normal.
Holy shit, man.
I think that is just that's a great 3-act arc that makes sense with the trajectory of where we're seeing Marvel go.
Well, and especially given the fact that it seems like with trilogies, it's usually always the second movie for a lot of times where it's like it seems as though like the villains won or all hope is lost before there's like the eventual and inevitable, hope that comes back. So it does kind of make sense that, right, if they were to go with that route, that the second one ends with the whole incursion like going down, like it happens, it all officially takes place. And oh my god, man, then for the third one to have like an entire movie dedicated to being on Battleworld would definitely be very fitting, that's for sure. And I love the concept too of like making the Infinity Gauntlet come back to relevancy. You know, it's something where yeah, it shouldn't be kind of knocked to the side. I don't feel like it was knocked to the side. It's just that we don't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And I know there's some people that dislike their treatment of it in the Loki show, but I don't actually have an issue with that because I don't like the what they do in Loki in the TVA does not really diminish the power of the Infinity Stones like we think it does. All that they're saying is that they have no power there. They're in like they are outside of time. Like it's just so right. It's in that one spot. But dude, the moment that those things exit the TVA, they're like their battery's ready to go again. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that it's true, right? They really are a big force to be reckoned with, and yeah, the fact that they're throughout the multiverse and everything. I mean, fuck, there was a Darkhold throughout the multiverse, and so clearly those are they got to be around and they got to be utilized to some capacity.
Yeah, exactly. And I could even see the interaction in that third movie of our heroes from Earth 616 once they see other heroes from other universes like look what we found, and then our heroes from Earth 616 going, what are you doing? Put that away. You have no idea what you're holding, and we have 10 years of history as to why their reactions like this.
No, that would definitely be. I'd love it, man. I would absolutely love it. I think that was I really think that was a solid series or a theory there, right? As far as like how that series could go, man.
Hire me, Feige, hire me.
Well, and then plus it just seems as though where was it? I thought this was funny to throw in there. Schofield was like, "Man, a movie's just becoming man of theories." Yeah, man, he's jumping on my bandwagon. As far as right, it's nice to be the not be the only one throwing some solid theories out there. I love it.
Yeah, man.
What do you think, Dan? Do you feel like that's a plausible and potential trilogy to come inevitably?
Wait, so John, though, there wouldn't be movies in between then? Doesn't sound like there's much room for other movies in between.
Not something that I thought out. I haven't thought it out. I could think it out, but not that I haven't thought anything out particularly. I definitely think like once the incursion happens and Battle World becomes a reality, there are definitely movies that can happen between Battle World. The comics and Secret Wars are plentiful of different heroes' journeys within Battle World.
Yeah, I don't know what Battle World. I don't think I know what Battle World.
And I'm sure they won't even make it Battle World. That's why it says like Battle World-esque. Like it'll be like a one world kind of ruins of sorts.
I like the theory though. I love the
And the first movie I wanted to focus on Kang because I do think Kang will be some sort of and if you want to think about it this way, Kang is what pushes it all into fruition.
It's very true. It's very true, man. And I think, it just seems to like now that we've especially got some established connection with the Fantastic Four and the fact that Kang is supposedly a long, far off descendant of Reed Richards. I just feel like that, I don't know, now that they've got just open doorways to that, there's so much more that they could do and squeeze in there. And yeah, man, I think that he's going to be a huge part of like a lot of stuff to come. And that would be great if he still played a huge main component, but then like wasn't the overarching villain of the trilogy. But that it's like, dude, but if it wasn't for Kang, none of this would have set off the way that it did. So it's still being like a very, very big component of it. Man, that'd be really dope.
Yeah, man.
That'd be really dope. I would absolutely be down for that.
Basically this whole saga isn't gonna be man versus man, like Avengers versus Thanos. It's gonna be man versus nature. Like it's gonna be the incursion, which they can't really fight the incursion. They could fight the man that may have caused the incursion, Kang, but the incursion is happening.
Definitely, man. That'd be really interesting. And it's nuts to think because, like, and I don't know, did they ever explain in Multiverse of Madness or not? But, like, with incursions, and you saying as far as the one movie focusing a lot on, like, a don't look up type thing, like, how do we fight this? Because it's in the comics explained that with incursions, there's basically this concept that two universes entirely are going to collide, but they converge at the point of Earth. And what they eventually realize is that if you destroy one of the Earths, seemingly both universes are then able to survive. But if they don't destroy one of the Earths, then both universes entirely are disposed of and everything. So that would be nuts, even if it was something as simple of like the incursion took place and like we weren't able to You know, like we knew that it was either our Earth or the other Earth, and we couldn't get ourselves to destroy the other Earth. But then, like, imagine if the other Earth did decide, like, fuck it, get rid of them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
you
how things would go.
exactly, exactly. That whole comic, the first issue of Secret Wars 2015 is all that second movie that I'm theorizing, because it's just them on Earth trying to figure out like what's happening, what can we do, blah blah blah, and it ends with our heroes, a lot of our heroes, getting on a life raft to save them.
Yeah, man. I'd love it. I'd be so down for it. That'd be fucking amazing. They're
Yeah.
already diving into so much stuff comic heavy that just it seems like they'd be willing to. And
Yeah.
especially because that would be something that they'd work towards. And it would get
Yeah.
there down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, there is at least because there's as far as a close of the comments here. So there was a couple, like literally two things, not even conversation points, but one conversation point and one just kind of farewell type thing. Eric had just one last thing to throw in that I thought was kind of cool, where he said, "So can we get Famke's Dark Phoenix still, please? Like, imagine she comes through the multiverse and no one can stop her except Wanda, and that's Wanda's final redemption. At least just the concept of like if they were to cross anything over to the Fox X-Men universe fully, that would probably be one of the few things I'd be okay with." Even though I thought the last stand wasn't.
It's definitely just that I don't see that being Marvel's trajectory. That's it. But of course, I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly. How realistic? Not too sure, but would like to see it. What's up, Dan?
Same with John. Yeah, I agree. I don't know about her. I wouldn't mind Famke, but I don't. Eric's so set on it being the Fox X-Men universe.
No, it's not. It's not happening unless like we get more multiversal cameos, like in Doctor Strange. But the Marvel's like X-Men universe, I think, should be reset.
Me too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not want to see them bring over, what's it? Sophie Turner, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I was drawing a blank on it because I know her, but anyway, yeah, I don't want to see her. Jean Grey being brought back in. I any of the new people, honestly, like they were cool. I like their movies for what they were and everything, but I don't want any of those people to come back in. The only person I was really okay with was Evan Peters as Quicksilver. Like I was totally down for that, and I still am, honestly. But basically everybody else is kind of like, whatever.
Yeah,
and the people that I would want to see come back, I don't picture coming back for a long time. Like I'd love to see Patrick Stewart stay Professor X, but dude, I don't really think that that's going to take place. I'd love to see Ian McKellen still be as Magneto, but I just don't see that taking place. I'd love to see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, but I don't see that taking place. So any of the people that I would be down for the Fox X-Men to come back, it's like doesn't seem like it's a realistic possibility anymore. And so be it, man. That's it. They had their time in the spotlight. It was great. They did their thing, and now we got this time to have a fresh introduction to them. And since we have that option to make it so fresh, why would you want to kind of almost stain it right away with the, tarnished reputation that is Fox's X-Men as far as the hit and miss that it is? So don't think that it's something that'll eventually be a reality. But once again, like was being said, would still be cool to see nonetheless. Schofield was mentioning a bit ago that he was going to go, but right as he said goodbye, he also said, will this be the last Multiverse of Madness stream? I don't know.
I don't know. we should probably just be bringing like weekly Marvel streams and just call it like Marvel streams.
No, to be honest with you, John, it's funny that you mentioned that. I swear to God, it's really, really funny you mentioned that because that absolutely has been a thought of mine. So like as we get to a close here, I'll start to end with something that I've been repeating quite a few times on my live streams here and there, where I mention, guys, I'm trying to come at you with a more scheduled routine and do this more often, right? I want to do live chats with you more often and everything. And that's the truth. And it's just a bit a matter of like really, once again, getting the scheduling of it down. And this has almost been like indirectly a nice launching point for me to go ahead and start doing that, to where, John, I'm not joking, like you're very much on the same wavelength as I am. I have a feeling that honestly might just end up being as far as like, there could be a specific topic at hand to start off with. That's like the initial focus of doing the stream, but that it's really just like, we're just talking anything Marvel, anything superheroes really for that matter. And just kind of like a whatever, like we're just getting together and talking about whatever we see fit. Because that's almost what it's been anyway, right? It's been, Multiverse of Madness is the initial stem of everything, but then it just kind of diverges into its own thing.
Yeah.
Sean!
What Sean?
Holy shit! I was hoping that you was going to be available as far as to join us, my man. And I'll tell you what, if there is going to be specifically a Multiverse of Madness Part 4 discussion, then I would hope it's that we have Sean on here with us as well, because I'd really love to talk to him about it, given the fact that I know he liked this a lot more than I thought he would.
Yeah.
Just like with as far as with John, right? I was like, oh man, I think John's not going to care for this, and all of a sudden he's like, I fucking love it. It's yes, and then Sean's like, fucking love it. I'm like, oh my god, what's happening? This is great.
And Dan's like, I hate you, Jace.
No, I appreciate as far as that Dan has his own set of opinions there, but at least is still as positive on it as he is, right? And even if that wasn't the case, it'd be okay. It'd be okay. But I'm glad that there's a lot of similar viewpoints. Well, guys, now that we've gotten a chance to go ahead and hash out those last few things, appreciate us sticking around just a smidgen longer here. And I'm gonna go ahead and give everybody the due credit that we usually do by tossing it around and letting some people shout themselves out in case if there's either anything coming, or maybe you just want to be like, sup, I'm stealing the screen for a moment, I'm sexy, and that's it. And maybe that's it, right? You do whatever you want to do. This is your time to shine. Go for it, Dan.
So-
Hi, my name is Dan, and I'm goated with the sauce.
Oh my god.
I can see Dan. It's all over your face.
What?
It's all over your face.
So Morbius is still my favorite movie of the year, and
Oh God.
no, just so everyone knows, I like Morbius more than most people, but I did. It's not that good. It's not good. But anyway, hopefully I'll be coming back soon. I'm gonna be filming my Multiverse of Madness, my own spoiler review, hopefully at some point. And I want to talk about everything everywhere all at once still. And I want to talk about a few other things, and obviously Jurassic World Dominion's coming out, so hopefully I'll be back in the swing of things by then. But yeah, no, just check me out at the Upside Dan, and check out all my fellow Cinema Squad members, and look forward to seeing us come back for shooting the shit in June. Yeah, so thank you for stopping by here.
Well said, Dan. Well said.
You are,
And yeah,
indeed.
looking forward as far as to I'm telling you, man, with all the stuff that you apparently have on the horizon here, you better not be just tickling our balls over here, Dan, because you're building our
Yeah.
hopes up, right? And I'm waiting to jump back into the upside. So
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Gonna throw it over to Mr. Dad of Movies here and see what
Well,
he has to say.
I just want to say, Dan, that you are indeed goated with the sauce. So I recognize that.
Thank you.
What's up, guys? My name is Jonathan. I'm a man of movies, and I have not been on YouTube for a very long time. I have just been switching up my priorities, is all. But of course, you'll always see me on other people's stuff because I'm lazy. No, it's always fun to chat with my boys and more about Marvel, about movies, about everything, my friends. So if you guys want to subscribe to me, I have a back catalog of reviews and live streams, rankings, and lists that you can go and watch. Man of Movies on YouTube. But if you want something more consistent, you want somewhere where you can personally talk to me, where you can respond to me immediately whenever I post something, Instagram is the place to be. I am very active there. It is Man of Movies 96, Man of Movie 96 on Instagram, and I'm always there, always active. So hit me up.
Okay. So just prepare for your DMs to blow up now, John.
Oh, snap.
Who that sexy Puerto Rican in the Sanctum Sanctorum over there?
It's me.
It's Jeff. Oh god. All right, well, no reason to take the spotlight for my own. You people know where you're at. Appreciate you being here very, very much. Seriously, thank you so much for stopping by. Appreciate my boys being able to come through, my fellow Cinema Squad broskies. I want to echo Dan's statement real quick by not just being on the lookout for everything that we have coming up as per usual, but definitely be on the lookout as far as June. We are still going to release the exact date. We're keeping you on the edge of your seat here as a working, but we're going to release that exact date sooner than you think. June is coming up sooner than you think. And guess what? We are going to be back with discussions like this, except involving anything and everything, everywhere all at once, because of the fact that it's just shooting the shit. All right,
I
so I'm
love
looking.
that.
Yeah, I didn't even mean to tie that in together, but like that. That just really fit organically really well. There's the pet on the back there. So anyway, everybody be on the lookout. Really excited to come back with that, for lack of better terms. And until next time, everybody, you take care of yourselves. You keep talking Multiverse of Madness and coming up with other different theories and comments and thoughts, so that the next time we have one of these, because there'll probably be another one. I don't know. I mean, there's a pretty good chance. But you'll have something to go ahead and throw into that conversation with us. All right, everybody. See ya. We love you.
Wouldn't want to be
Peace.
you.